Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It's been a pretty quiet week. Nothing's happened. So
nothing at all.
Let's just talk about just do a full episode about Rogue One.
I saw, speaking of, I saw there were people were talking about Rogue Squadron the other day.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Yeah.
Because
fucking cancel.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle was supposed to be in it. And now he's going, he's going on tour with Rogan. And
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Patty Jenkins was supposed to direct Rogue Squadron.
Yep.
And they decided not to make the movie.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. I honestly don't. I am fine if they do not ever make a Star Wars movie again. To be honest, I'm fine with that. If they make really good episodic shows like The Mandalorian, I'd be more okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see a movie in the future, I think, but I'm certainly in no rush. I guess I'm ambivalent about it. Yeah,
I haven't been. Maybe I'm just speaking from a bias since I haven't been to a theater since the pandemic started. The last movie I saw in the theater was Jaws 4 with Michael Caine. Came out in 1987. I'm assuming that was the last time I went to the theater because that's what it feels like. It feels like over 30 years ago. No, I think the last movie I saw in the theater was Onward, starring everyone's favorite actor, Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we were going to talk. Let's talk about that real quick, actually. We have a whole list of things, but let's just get that out of the way. Chris Pratt, speaking of getting canceled, which means he'll be fine and nothing will happen because there's no such thing as canceling huge celebrities.
No.
So he just got casted as Garfield. Is there no one else? Like, how lazy are Hollywood? Like, how lazy are Hollywood? Like, when it comes to these type of things, he just got casted as Mario.
Yeah.
Now
I don't know enough about Chris Pratt the person to really like or dislike him as a human. He's done some things that have kind of given me pause. I love him as an actor.
He's fine. I never had an issue. He was great in Parks and Rec. He's great as Star-Lord. He was fine in that stupid movie we talked about on Amazon.
Tomorrow War.
Traveling with the alien.
Yeah,
what?
It's fun. Tomorrow.
Yeah, what was it called again?
The Tomorrow War.
Yeah, Tomorrow. Yeah, he was fine with that. He's one of those people. Someone made a joke and says he has Labrador, golden retriever energy.
Yeah,
I said you should never trust people like that because they're usually terrible. But he gives off golden retriever energy. Owen Wilson kind of gives that up a little bit. There's certain actors that give that, and you're like, they walk in a room or they're in something and they show up, and you're like, you're never disappointed if you see them in the movie. They're usually they play a fun character.
But that's a good analogy. He would have made a much better Odie than a Garfield. He just doesn't seem like a Garfield to me.
Well, Odie doesn't talk though, so that would be
give him a little.
Yeah, he's not a Garfield. The Mario thing was bad. I think the Mario thing was bad casting. Yeah. I mean, this was finally a chance for an old-timey Italian stereotype to get the role.
Yes.
And they gave it to Chris Pratt.
That makes some sense.
They could have, Captain Lou Albano play him in the 80s.
Yeah.
WWF. And then you had Bob Hoskin. He died, so you can't get him.
Right.
That guy was British. So he was like, hey, I'm Italian. I don't know. Like Watto from Star Wars. But really, you can't find anyone else. And I'm not saying I hate Chris Pratt, don't cast him that. It's more just I feel like it's laziness on their part. I would say he's definitely not a Garfield at all. I would even put what's his face in there, the guy who played Gob. Will Arnett would be more of a Garfield.
He's more of a Garfield. Bob Newhart's still doing stuff.
Bob Newhart's not doing anything. You know why?
Is he dead?
He's dead.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You can't. It's gonna be tough to get him. He's a real. He doesn't show up to things.
Bob Newhart would have been a great. It would have been a great Garfield, though.
Yeah, that's a good Garfield.
Yeah.
Or, I just think like I don't
Roberto
know.
Benigni.
Okay, so just to get but Garfield.
No, I meant for Mario. I'm sorry.
For Mario. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I don't ever talk to you this. About the time I had a licensing, I don't give a shit. I could talk about this. I was in a meeting with Nintendo for a licensing thing years ago, back almost 10 years ago. And in the meeting, the head of the licensing person said, Mario is not Italian.
What?
Yeah, Mario is not Italian. He is a hero from the Mushroom Kingdom. They decided that they did not, and I don't know if people are aware of this because people still think Mario is Italian.
Yeah,
a lot, maybe people our age. But if you notice with kids and stuff in modern games and everything, they don't really emphasize that. I mean, he go here we go and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you're right. He has a more anime type voice.
They don't really push that he's a plumber.
That's true.
Went through a drain. Like the Mario Brothers game was that's like in a sewer, the first one, then Super Mario where he gets transported to Mushroom Kingdom. And then in the 80s, there was all kinds of references. I remember licensing. I was like, oh, cool, we can make that shirt you want some Italian or something. Nintendo was not going to have any of that. And yeah, they told us that. They're like, no, Mario's not Italian. And they didn't want to be a stereotype. And
that's laudable, I suppose.
Yeah, but he still looks the same though.
Yeah.
And people still think, especially people like our age and a little younger, still think Mario's Italian. So all these people they were all mad online when Chris Pratt got the role. They were like, what the hell? You couldn't cast an Italian? And I wanted to chime in. I was like, you know what? I don't know how to write this properly or text it properly. So I just stayed out of it. But
wise.
Technically, Mario is not Italian. He has not been Italian for decades, according to Nintendo. If you looked up Nintendo now, probably they would not talk about Mario's Italian heritage of any kind. He is from the Mushroom Kingdom. He's not even, supposedly he's not even a character that went through a sewer pipe to get to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. That's funny. I just Googled as we were talking here, is Mario, and then before I could complete, the predictive text said Italian or Mexican. Apparently there's a big debate. Well, it's funny because I used to teach at a school.
John Leguizamo played Luigi, so
there was a lot of kids from Mexico born in Mexico at this school, and there was multiple Marios there. Like
Mario Lopez.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's a good point. So this says, and I don't people Mario. I guess he has a last name, Segale. His name makes reference to Nintendo of America's landlord, Mario Segale, an Italian American. Now that is from some random website that I've never heard of before.
I guarantee you're probably not going to find it. Mario is not Italian.
I believe
has not
it.
Been in decades.
Yeah.
He's just a fat, plump character from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
The person told us in the meeting, he was the head of licensing. He explained that to us, so we didn't come in with any Italian references of any kind because he's not even from Earth. He is from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Huh.
If anything, it's a goddamn Goomba. Doesn't that sound like an Italian slur?
It does.
Hey, get your Goombas out of here.
And wasn't Bowser like the Italian American Shana Na guy? I mean,
I don't know, but
there's a lot.
I always thought was a funny name because that's such a horrible. That to me, that sounds like an Italian, like a slur you would throw in Italian.
It does, yeah.
Goombas over here,
right?
No, they're lovable penis-capped villains.
Yeah,
they're like penis heads with little feet.
Wow.
And Mario has to stomp on them. stomp those penis heads to the ground. All right. So, real quick, Chris Pratt said something stupid about Well, I guess he had a kid with antivirus first, and that kid has like some issues or something,
Oh,
some
okay.
health related stuff, or I don't know. I didn't like, and then I guess he tweets this thing with his new wife, and they had a kid, and he emphasizes how he's so happy to have a healthy
Oh no.
child, and all this, like really pointing out, like, hey, I have this healthy kid with this woman,
Wow.
not a defective kid that I have with the other woman that I'm not with anymore. And people were like, I think people like one, I don't know. It's douchey
It
regardless.
is.
Super douchey. And I mean, the guy's still gonna be a huge actor. I
Oh
was
yeah.
loving, people have to stop saying someone's canceled. None of these
Yeah.
motherfuckers are getting canceled. None of them are canceled. They'll be, you know how you know they'll be canceled? Is it you find out like the next day they were fired from every fucking job they worked at.
Right. Yeah. There have been some. It's odd. Like the very big celebrities don't get canceled, but there've been a few that have been kind of canceled. Like you don't see Gina Carano in much work anymore because she's was never that talented to
Did
begin
you
with.
see?
You
Yeah,
know.
she's on like a total anti-vaxxer shit now
Yeah.
too. Disney made a very wise choice firing her ass.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that Shiri from the Black Panther is like giving them a kind of a headache with her
Oh yeah,
anti-vax
no, they're
stance.
all huge anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Like who else? Yeah, Sherry, the woman who plays Sherry, they said the set she got into an accident and the set was shut down for Black Panther too, which
Mm.
people think is code for because after everything that happened to Rodgers or everything,
Right.
we'll get into that in a bit. This is code for she had COVID and they
Yeah.
had to shut down the production for a couple of weeks because she has COVID. Because I'm like, these motherfuckers should be forced to get the vaccine. If you want to star in a goddamn Marvel movie, you gotta be vaccinated.
Well,
I
I
mean,
would
like,
just
this is
think
ridiculous.
to ensure the set, like
Yeah,
someone an insurance company has to go in there and say like, hey, these are the risks, and coronavirus has to be a risk. I mean,
I'm so tired of this. Like how COVID has become this choose your own adventure thing. It should just be like any other fucking major illness
yeah.
that you need to be inoculated before you participate. And the fact that she is against it. Ice Cube, it basically left a movie with Jack Black because he has to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Ice Cube has proven to be pretty shitty over the years. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, he
was like posting like anti-Semitic propaganda.
Yep. Yeah, Ice Cube really
and he was kind of doing like a weird soft endorsement for Trump in 2020 also.
Yep. Yeah. He did. Well, this actually kind of leads into our first
well, I just want to point out though, it's like all these people that are like refusing to work, or these actors or anything like that. Like, think about this. Like, if you have a $200 million production go in, and the fucking one of the leads refused to get vaccinated, like, you basically shut down production.
Yeah.
You got so many people you have to be safe. Like, they need to like get Tom Cruise to show up and yell at them. You remember when that video
jumping on a couch,
Cruise yelling at like one of the people because a mask fell off or whatever?
Oh, and I remember that.
There was this great thing that leaked, and he went. It was like the opposite of like Christian Bale's
right
guy, because it was like at least on a positive,
light.
Like, like anti-mask or asshole. Like, you're gonna shut production down. Like, we're gonna lose a ton of money because we're gonna either get a fine, we're gonna have to shut production down, or people are gonna get COVID and get sick, and then we're not even gonna have a fucking movie. You better put in a fucking mask. So like, I don't get these fucking some of these celebrities that get mollycoddled by people. Like, you want to be in this fucking movie? Like,
well, that needs to be a reality check for Hollywood. When Tom Cruise is the voice of reason, everyone needs to take a step back and say like,
well, the guy, like, regardless what you think about him, the guy knows show business.
Yeah,
he knows how to run up. And the guy's like not just an actor, but a producer as well. So he understands like every factor that goes into these movies. And the fact that some of these dipshits refuse to get vaccinated and it'll just shut down production is totally insane. Like,
it is bizarre.
And it's selfish. It's so fucking selfish on these people's part.
Well, it is bizarre, and I don't know. I don't understand people who are I don't understand people that are so adamantly opposed to it. You know, I mean, there's been a long period of
It's been
adjustment.
around already. The
Yeah.
vaccine has been around for over. It is almost a year now.
Well, yeah.
You had people getting it a year ago, and like it was limited, but people were getting it. All the trials were done.
Yep.
It was ready to go. People were getting it. It's been a year, but these fucking morons think that like there's this code in the vaccine that in like 3 years we're gonna turn into goo. One day when Zog hits the button,
Yeah,
anti-Semitic thing,
well,
hits the button, we're all gonna turn into like the thing from that movie, The Stuff.
well, it's just so weird, the lack of critical thinking. Like every day there's like a new snack food that people will easily consume, you know, with a list of like ingredients that half of which you can't pronounce. It says right on it, these were genetically modified. You know, I mean, like,
yeah, you're eating genetically modified corn,
right? And
everything
plus
you
with
eat,
like weird chemicals. And there was like a study just a week or two ago that said like all fast food has plastic in it, like straight up plastic. You know, like,
remember like what was it, Subway or something came out and they said like whole wheat bread had like the same shit, an ingredient that would be in a yoga mat.
Yeah.
And then there was like a list of every place that had this in their whole wheat bread, and it was like Chick-fil-A, all these places, even more expensive places, had this in their bread. It's like a thing, like an emulsifier or something that they use. Keeps the bread fresher longer. There's all kinds of factors involved. But it's like if you're willing to fucking eat that shit and you're not worried about eating, you know, you might as well eat a yoga mat, I guess. I mean, to say a yoga mat and the bread are the same is a very big extreme. It's just
but like
it's loaded with fillers.
I mean, there's a bunch of memes that basically said like if you've ever had a Monster energy drink, then you shouldn't have any problem with the vaccine.
If you're eating hot Cheetos every day, or if you even had a bag of hot Cheetos, you should have no problem in the vaccine.
If you have a favorite flavor of Taki, you know, then
if your favorite flavor of Cisco is
vape. If you vape, yes.
If you vape, like literally anything, you should have no problem getting the vaccine.
Right. Yeah.
Like this is nonsense. These people, like this is so based. It's like all these morons, they saw a meme. They saw a meme and their brain got fucking twisted. It happened in like, because I started seeing all kinds of memes in October of like 2019 when like they were just talking about COVID and everything. And I saw like how people weren't taking it seriously. And it was all these stupid memes. And they saw a meme and it rotted their fucking brain. And ever since then, they never like, they made it like their political identity.
I do think that, but I also think that you could probably narrow it down to probably like a dozen media celebrity people, you know what I mean? And if they just chilled out and said the vaccine, you know, if they made a good faith effort to say, I got the vaccine and I'm fine, then you'd see a big sea change in people's attitudes towards it. There'd still be dead enders. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still going to be.
But I mean, like, I'm supposed to now watch Black Panther 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being told that Shuri is the fucking smartest one of like, if there's like 10 smart people in the world, her character is supposed to fall in line with that. And I'm supposed to believe that. I'm supposed to watch that movie and think, yeah, this woman is super intelligent. But the whole time I'm going to be thinking how the woman that plays her is an idiot that pushes conspiracies about vaccines.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, like I am on the internet a lot. I read a lot, and it is a pervasive belief amongst a large percentage of people that the vaccine is a trap and a trick. And even none of their narratives make any sense. You know, it's like the government and big pharma teamed up with Bill Gates. I mean, it's like the threads are just all over the place. But I really do.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think if like Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Judge Perino or whatever her name is.
Well, Hannity, remember, did go on TV and say, go get the vaccine. I got it. But then he got backlash, and then he went on his radio show and totally backpedaled and they basically avoided it. Did you see that Newsmax? The cast, and is it Newsmax or OAN? Cast and Newsmax. I'm pretty sure it's Newsmax, basically, which is like if you want Fox News, but you want it to be even nuttier. Newsmax, it says in their byline that everyone has to be vaccinated, and they're pushing anti-vaccine. So I think this will go into this. So real quick, things we're going to talk about, because kind of went on a whole tangent about, Joseph wanted to talk about Chris Pratt for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just kidding. Kids Vax, which is what we're talking about. Ted Cruz, Big Bird, Matthew McConaughey, Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Rittenhouse, Nra Columbine, Josh Hawley, subpoenas, Nancy Pelosi's wedding. She's officiated a wedding. We'll get into that later. And then to top it off, the Travis Scott, Astroland, Travis.
That's a shame.
All right. So we were talking obviously about vaccines a lot and all this, and this kind of leads into this because talking about people who work in bad faith that spread misinformation, and a person who spreads misinformation is Ted Cruz.
Yes.
So the kids' vaccine just finally got released last week. It went for approval and immediately it was available. Basically like a smaller, I don't know if it's like completely different or whatever.
It's a third, it's the same thing, but a third of the dose.
And I think it's only Pfizer right now.
That could be.
Yeah, I think it's the only one available right now for kids. I got my son back. He got his first one this past Saturday. You just got your daughter done. Her vaccine was
this morning.
Today, this morning. So Big Bird got vaccinated, or I don't. Yeah, he went to get vaccinated or something. And
you know where he got the shot?
Where?
On his left wing.
Oh. Now the thing is, here's the bigger problem about Big Bird. Now Ted Cruz is staying to fight with Big Bird.
Yes.
Ted Cruz is a fictional character, and Big Bird is a real thing.
Yeah.
Now, Big Bird is a Muppet.
Right.
Big Bird has also had a long history of pushing vaccine and the importance of vaccines. That people have pulled up videos. And footage of Big Bird in the early 70s talking about vaccines and everything. And Ted Cruz came out and said that Big Bird was now a communist or something.
Yep. Marxism. He said Marxism, Sesame Street's pushing Marxism to 5-year-olds or something. Right,
which is bizarre. I don't even understand. Like, here's the thing too, and this is nothing a bigger piece of shit than a person who is vaccinated and then lies and tells people not to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
That is pure, like, why did you get vaccinated then? Like, anyone that says like pushes vaccine hesitancy, but they were vaccinated, I really want to know there's
no possible reason to do that other than for like some sort of nefarious reason,
Right. It's not good faith in any way whatsoever. I mean, it's not good faith to be pushing vaccine hesitancy to begin with, but like if you're fully vaccinated and you're pushing that's bizarre. Yeah. So he's been fully vaccinated and he probably already got the booster.
Yep, probably.
I got the booster a couple weeks ago. You didn't get it yet, right?
No. My wife and I are doing our combo booster and flu shot. We never got our flu shot, but we're doing that this weekend. So I think you got the coronavirus vaccine probably a couple weeks ahead of me too, if I remember right. Yeah. I had trouble getting it at first. Yeah.
So Matthew McConaughey came out and said he's not vaccinating his kids.
Yeah.
That guy sucks.
Every time he opens his mouth, he gets worse.
He is terrible. These guys suck. Like, okay, so the kids' vaccine's out, and of course, like all these people are gonna like try to now push vaccine hesitancy. It's like, man, imagine if this vaccine was available for these kids, like when the regular vaccine was available. I bet you there'd be so many people alive today. And it's not because I'm saying that we lost a bunch of children. It's more that little kids are the biggest germ carriers, especially especially if you're like in a Texas school or Florida school where the mandate was put in by a governor, an anti-mask mandate. And you had like the elementary school where there was no vaccine available. So you basically send your kid to a petri dish, bring home not just COVID, but any other fucking disease. And usually those kids, half the time, I mean, they get sick or half the time. Sometimes the kids are fine and they just bring it home and give it to grandma or mom or whatever. Like I used to get sick all the time when I worked in this one company because there was one woman she never got vaccinated or anything like that. And she would bring every goddamn virus that her kid got from the school, and her kid wasn't vaccinated either. So the disease would just go around one big circle. It would start with her. It would always start with her. But like, man, imagine like how many people would be alive today probably if the kids' vaccine was available at the same time.
Well, yeah. It's hard. It's hard to figure out the decisions people make. You know, we've been talking about that too, like the percentage of people that maybe they're not vaccinated, but they would get their kids vaccinated, or they're going to get vaccinated, but they won't get their kids vaccinated. I don't know. It's a weird calculus.
And then, there's all these people who got the vaccine like 6-7 months ago and then got fucking red pill during the summer.
Yeah.
And now they're not getting their fucking kid vaccine. Like, why is Matthew McConaughey not getting his kids vaccinated? He's vaccinated, I think.
It's just so crazy. It's like saying, well, I'll wear a seatbelt, but I'm not putting my kid in the car seat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
yeah, my kid's not going to wear no seatbelt. I'm going to run around.
It's just such a weird thing. Like
I'm going to give my child no protection whatsoever. Like,
if anything, there's more evidence that this vaccine is safe. There's more evidence that it works. I sent you something the other day. Like, if you are a Texan, if you live in Texas and you haven't been vaccinated, you're like 40 times more likely to die of coronavirus. You know, I mean, it's just, and those numbers are getting clearer. You know, the evidence is getting clearer. Yeah, and it was like, always pretty clear to begin with.
Months ago, the anti-vaxxers were trying to push this thing like it's the people who are vaccinated, the ones that had it, or the ones that got the Delta, or the ones that spread. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. None of that is true. Yeah. None of that is true. You're a fucking liar. The hospitals were filled, and if they have COVID patients, and they're still filled up with them. It's unvaccinated adults.
Yeah. That's it.
And like I said, I'm glad this vaccine's out. Obviously, we got to get the kids a second dose. They're not going to be fully vaccinated until like beginning December.
Yeah.
You know, because it takes a week or two to like kick in fully. But man, it was such a relief getting that done finally. I just felt like, you know, I was hoping it was going to be available before the school started. I kind of Then I was hoping to be available in September. And then they kept on saying October, and October passed, and I'm just glad it got final, at least at the beginning of November.
Yeah, I think this will be good because if people made the decision to keep their kid at home, then they have the option of going the whole second half of the year, the second semester, which usually begins in January. And it seems like a good logical place for people to jump back into things. I don't know. I mean, my wife made the appointment for our daughter this morning, and she was going to take our daughter, and I was like, well, I want to come too. And she's like, oh, I didn't think you'd want to go or whatever, but it was like, it's a big deal. It felt like a very monumental thing. I know on one hand, it's just a vaccine, no big deal. You get a vaccine, you get vaccines all the time. But on the other hand, it was like, we did it.
It's funny, as last week I took my son to get his yearly, and we totally forgot. I guess at 11 you get a bunch of vaccines. So Roger was already getting his vaccine on Saturday, but Thursday he got like 3 big ass vaccines. And the woman at the pediatrician, that one was terrible.
Yeah, you said that.
Like really hurt my kid. Like the woman who gave the vaccine at Walgreens, that's where we got it done for the COVID. Yeah. That one was great. She was really good. Very calm, very nice. This other one was just like, I'm gonna stab a kid today. Like she sucked. She like the minute she showed up, my son was like freaking out already because she freaking had the needles like in her hand, and I was just like kind of like, oh come on. I felt bad for him, but I'm glad it got all done, but man, she sucked.
My kid's experience this morning was real nice and easy. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think if your kid got 3 other vaccines, I'm sure she wouldn't be happy. But
Probably not.
like I said, the COVID one was a much better experience.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It felt like, like that. And again, I mean, I don't want to say like I believe this is the finish line, because it's not, but it's like,
COVID, unfortunately, thanks to politics and dumbasses, we'll probably have COVID in their lives. It'll become a thing where rational people will get the vaccine and they won't have to worry about it. But
Yeah.
you're always going to hear about hospitals being inundated by COVID patients or whatever new variant or whatever. I mean, the goal of the vaccine was to make sure that it didn't mutate and turn into like something else, and then the vaccine becomes either less effective.
Right.
Thankfully, the booster has become available. But again, I feel like people got fucking red pilled and they're not even going to get the booster.
Well, you had said something before we started, excuse me, before we started recording, about people's age and like their willingness to get vaccinated. And I think you're right. I had a friend when I was young, whose dad had polio, like straight up had polio. He walked with a cane. He had, noticeable, consequences of the polio.
Yeah, a short foot. That's
usually, and then
like polio foot.
When I was a kid, like in the early 70s, I was born in 69. The space program was still like really high flying and very popular. And we had just landed on the moon. And there's this huge belief in science and government, to be honest with you. There's like I know Vietnam had kind of rocked our belief in government, but we still had a lot of residual goodwill towards science programs and education programs. And I remember like Big Bird and the Electric Company and shit like that telling me about.
And the right wing and Ted Cruz hate Sesame Street because what the main purpose of Sesame Street was?
Well, it was to bring a good public education into inner city kids.
Yeah. And then it got popular, and then white kids liked it too in the suburbs and everything like that. And just like everything, you see, the right always tries to, they always know they have to change their argument because they cannot beat popular culture.
Right.
Ted Cruz wants to fight Big Bird. People love Big Bird. Even if you don't even know what Sesame Street is, you love Big Bird. He's a big sweet bird. He's not a dick. He's just like, hey, I want a big bird. Yeah. And he's like, and you want to hug him and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, maybe you do. I ain't hugging that freak.
Well, it is
freaky bird hands away from me, your weird ass legs. What are those things? He has like little ribbons,
slinkies, like stretched out slinkies.
Multiple leg warmers on or something.
Well, I'm just like, I remember all of that, and I remember like drinking Tang, because it was astronaut related, and it was just this big belief. Now, in the intervening years, like the space program fell apart due to neglect, and there's been this kind of like anti-government, anti-science, anti-logic, anti-critical thinking kind of movement. And I think you're right. I think a lot of younger people are less likely to get vaccines and stuff. I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing, but I
like older people experience not having a like there's people like my dad told me when he was a kid, my grandmother shipped him off to camp to go to in northern like upstate New York, where it was a little cooler, to avoid polio. I guess like if summertime like that, it like thrived in the summer in the heat.
Yeah.
And to avoid it, he went away. He said it was specifically to make sure that he did not get polio during the summertime. And this was pre-vaccine. It wasn't available yet. And then once it became available, it changed everything, that polio vaccine.
We were raised by those people, the people that saw firsthand the value of vaccines. So we have these that,
like Gen X people, millennials, Xennials, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They live in a world where we don't, we see viruses and diseases and Ebola and all that stuff, but most of the time those things get contained and people don't think about it because it doesn't affect them. This is like the first major like pandemic to really fucking rock people's worlds, and I'm talking people like 40, 30, people like that age, they're like, they don't know what to do. They never had to experience like, and especially depending on what their economic means or anything. Like we were talking about this woman that you showed me who was like a huge anti-masker or something.
Yeah.
And you see this woman, she's like this
Yep.
attractive, like mom, like person.
Yeah.
Looks like a million other people, but whatever. She was probably never told no in her life.
No.
And now, like, there was just the slightest inconveniences, and these people have lost their mind. And it's almost like it's easy to be an anti-vaxxer in a world where, like, you're not really seeing, you don't worry about polio cemeteries. Yeah. Like, they always talk about that. Like, they used to talk about that, polio cemeteries. Like, it was literally cemeteries of children who died of polio.
Yeah.
And these people didn't have to experience that. So COVID comes along, and then there's people who tell them, it's not real.
Yeah, it is bizarre. I was going to say, like, between now the coronavirus and like polio, smallpox, and stuff like that kind of like was around before we came of age. The other big one, but was different, was AIDS. HIV/AIDS. And
but AIDS was so different.
It was
because not everyone you couldn't just get it. They acted like you could. But
you're right. I was going to say that's the difference. Is a lot of people thought it just affected gay people or hemophiliacs at the time. They were thinking those are the two groups.
They said the right only started to really take AIDS seriously and stuff like that when straight people started getting it.
Yeah, Magic Johnson.
Yeah. What was it? Oh God, you know that guy Dennis Prager from Prager?
Yeah, ice cream. Yeah.
Did you see the video recently where he said that even gay people in the AIDS era were not treated like a pariah the way anti-vaxxers are treated today?
That is stunning.
And that was the most disgusting lie ever. This video of him like 10 years ago saying the opposite and attacking homosexuals and stuff and saying they were the reason why AIDS gay people were if there was something to set back the LGBTQ movement, AIDS was the biggest thing. Not just did it kill them, but it made them into a pariah in the community. People, if anyone even was mentioned being gay or anything like that, they would automatically be seen as a plague carrier.
It is weird. I think and I'm sure a bunch of people have already said this or disproven it, but I think maybe Philadelphia kind of turned that around, that Tom Hanks movie,
it helped. It helped change know, but that's years later.
Yeah.
Early mid 80s, man. You had a president who wouldn't even admit it was real until Rock Hudson died.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't even acknowledge it. They were almost happy. It was let the fucking gay community.
Well, it was
eviscerated by this.
I remember it was real bad for a while. I remember being in a hotel room in Las Vegas and swearing that I had somehow contracted HIV, which...
How old were you?
I was not old enough to have worried about contracting HIV. I'll say this.
Sharing needles with a homeless man.
It was impossible for me to have contracted HIV. I wasn't sexually active. I wasn't, I didn't have it, but with the media frenzy around it, I was convinced that I'd caught it via air droplet,
oh yeah. They said that.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it took years for them to prove that the only way you get AIDS is blood. And that was it.
Yeah. It
wasn't even saliva. It was mostly.
And even blood. Then it's it's not automatic, you will probably get it or maybe.
And you don't even know you had it festered in the body for months before. And then it started as HIV. There was so many things. Dude, people were so ignorant back then. Talking about shit that didn't age well. I think it was Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Oh, yeah.
One of those especially.
Yep.
And he talks about, in this especially, he talks about his wife being friends with a gay guy, and then they might kiss just for fun or whatever, and that guy gives her AIDS from kissing.
Yeah.
And he was dead serious. It was it was a joke, but it wasn't. He really was pushing that as
I'll tell you,
real fear that he had.
I was a dumb kid. I was a kid, and this wasn't an age in which one could do one's own research. This was you had the newspaper and there wasn't.
That was it. You didn't have There was no internet. There
right.
wasn't.
This was even before BBSs or anything. So you were kind of on your own. And I remember I was camping out for tickets with a bunch of other people. I forget what show we were, but this was back when you had to camp out for tickets. We stayed there like 4 or 5 days waiting to get front row seats at a concert. Okay. I used to do that a lot, and we would get extra tickets and sell them. That's how I would pay. And anyway, a guy had a thermos with like rum and coke in it or something, and he was passing it around, and I drank some. And I remember going to bed that night hoping I didn't have AIDS.
I'm sure that rum in there not removed any type of fucking
it made no sense. But I legitimately like went to bed that night on the sidewalk in front of Infinite Mushroom out in Orlando, thinking like, geez, I hope I didn't just get AIDS from like.
Well, there was like the fear, and then you got like, so you had all those different things. Dennis Prager say that guy's a piece of shit. Yeah. There's no bigger piece of shit than Dennis Prager. He's one of the worst people. And he was one who got that COVID and then told people he was excited to get it, but it was like, yeah, but you're super rich and you're going to get the best treatment.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going to happen to you. If you don't drop dead, you're going to be fine. Like, so speaking of
super rich and nothing's going to happen to him.
Aaron Rodgers is a football player. I don't follow football at all. I know who he is just because he was like one of the big ones. And supposedly he was supposed to be kind of cool from what I heard over the years. Like they had him guest host Jeopardy. He's kind of like a inverse of like, what's that douchebag's name? That guy who was like a huge Trump supporter. He's from the Patriots.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Is that the one? The one that like Deflategate and all that shit?
That's him.
Yeah.
He's married to Giselle.
He totally fucking deflated those balls or whatever. That shit.
He is. I hate Tom Brady. I hate him a lot. I hate the Patriots, everything about him. But you're right. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be kind of like the chill. He played for the Packers. He had a grungy look, almost like he was like, the original drummer from Nirvana or something. He just seemed like a chill, kind of easygoing. He was a Jeopardy host for a day or two, like a cerebral slacker quarterback.
Yeah. Turns out it came out. He got COVID, and he told people. Well, he said they asked him if he had the vaccine, and he said he was immunized.
Yeah,
which is like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, that's one of those things where, in retrospect, it's perfectly clear that he was bullshitting people, but like at the time, I don't know that I would have thought that much about it. I don't know. Because there's no other evidence to suggest otherwise. And he even said, like, I know some guys on the team who haven't gotten the shot, and I respect their right to make a decision, but I've been immunized. And the way he phrased it made it seem very clear that he was saying he had the shot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's really, I don't even understand how. So everyone thought that the NFL, you had to be vaccinated, but that's not the case. It's just like the staff, the coaches, the players not be vaccinated. That's totally insane. Well, why would the players not be vaccinated? Like, it's like the same thing with like Shuri and Black Panther. Like, why would you? That's insane. Like, your whole production is based on these people.
Yeah. The rules are like, if there was incentives put into place. I follow football pretty closely, and I want to say, like, if 85% of your organization, and this is not just players, this is like, equipment personnel,
right, coaches. Okay, so you take that 85%, it could be like the majority of that 85% could be not football players.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if 85% were vaccinated, then the team didn't have to wear masks on the sideline or something. There's like, they had all these little rules. And one of the things is, and look, I disagree with it. They should have just said vaccinations, period. Or what, that's, so I believe that. But like, these are adults that have a union, and they're, millionaires, and they're, a lot of them are pretty weird people. And maybe not all of them are the most educated, and it's like a colossal headache. I mean, you can't get like fucking 10 average people into Arby's without there being a headache these days. And it's amplified. So yeah, they should have made them all get vaccinated. They didn't. But all that's kind of a distraction from what Aaron Rodgers did, which was like purposefully deceive people, just straight up lie.
Yeah, he lied. He said, and like,
and then
he told me this. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, then he comes out and he's like, I apologize if you misunderstood me. Like, what the fuck you.
Yeah, then he said he talked to Joe Rogan. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Why is Joe Rogan such a piece of shit? Like, what the fuck happened in this world? Like, why are we at the mercy of this idiot? Like,
well, it's just like this, and the whole thing was like real gaslighting. Like, I'm sorry if you misunderstood me, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't a me problem. This isn't a me. And then I guess he had dated a couple women who had kind of alluded to the fact beforehand that maybe he was like this all along, that he was kind of a...
Well, he's with, what's her face? That actress, something, Shannon Woolley or whatever, the one from the Insurrection.
Oh, yeah, right.
And supposedly she's some like hippy dippy bullshit. Like,
that's right, yeah.
Well, here's a fun fact about Aaron Rodgers. And I only know this because I know some other people who supposedly know him or are friends with, like his brother or whatever. He is from Chico, California.
Oh.
And I lived in Chico for 5 years, and about 5 years. And let me tell you, I've never met more anti-vaxxers in my life. Yeah. So I'm not shocked about any of this at all. Like, I have met so many anti-vaxxers. Like, towards the end, like, when Roger was like 2 or whatever, like Leah started like a group,
right,
which was like for autistic kids and like their parents, and the group just was fine in the beginning, and then towards the end it just got inundated by anti-vaxxers, and I was like losing it. We moved away anyway, but by that point when we left, it was already like just complete anti-vaxxer group. Like they really believed like the vaccine caused autism in their kids. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's complete bullshit. That's not. It's like the study of vaccines and the study of autism. Like, people for years that didn't know how to like label autism or label like Asperger. They don't even call it Asperger's anymore. They have like a different name for it.
Okay.
So as more kids diagnosed, it's like when that asshole from England spread that bullshit.
Yeah, it was one doctor basically.
One doc fucking quack who ended up becoming like big and famous. He married like McPherson. Like this fucking guy was celebrated. It's like this piece of shit is responsible for so many anti-vaxxers. So it happened to be around the same time that there was also breakthroughs in learning about autism. So it was like more people were getting diagnosed with it because they could actually diagnose it. And there was a huge spectrum. You had kids who couldn't communicate to the point of kids just who needed a little extra help. Yeah. And it just happened to be, unfortunately, around the time that the whole vaccines cause autism. And it was like, no. So they abused that, like, not that, like, it's disgusting. It's so fucking gross. And Aaron Rodgers is fucking part of that shit. And it sucks because, again, it's like, you said he got like a fine and it was only like $14,000.
It was like nothing. Yeah, I'm looking at
some football player got a fine for $20,000 for not having his shirt tucked in.
Yeah, it was.
Oh God, I hate.
I'll find it. It was no, I don't like I don't like the Cowboys, the local team. I'm kind of an Eagles fan. But the local, okay, here it is. So Chris Sims, a former quarterback in the NFL, tweeted about it. Looks like yesterday, and he says CD Lamb was fined $20,000 for having his jersey untucked last week. Aaron Rodgers was fined $14,000 for ignoring COVID protocols all season. I get that the enforcement rules are different, but it just looks bad and doesn't add up. And he put it a little mildly, in my opinion.
I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, I think finding a player 20 grand for having his shirt untucked is bullshit anyway. But whatever, it's a
but for only fine. But then you find that out, and you find a player for like outright lying to the public.
Well,
and endangering his team.
Yeah.
For complete selfish reasons.
Now the team could fine him. There's always a clause in their contract that says something like conduct detrimental to the team or something like that. So the Packers could fine him a lot of money. They could kick him off the team. They could suspend him. They could do anything they want, within the contract. But they won't. They won't. And next week, some other player's going to get fined a whole bunch of money for like unnecessary celebration or something. And Aaron Rodgers will go about his life and cash checks and be a chud.
Kaepernick gets kicked out of football for kneeling, and this fucking bitch boy refused to get vaccinated, and he'll still be celebrated, and nothing will happen now.
Well, and I don't, again, maybe I do mean to be this dramatic, but like, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, he is symptomatic of, honestly, like a lot of Republicans in America today, where they're like, you know what, if I don't like a rule, I'm not going to follow it, and I'm going to lie about it, and if you catch me, I'm going to say I don't care.
It's like that woman that got arrested, finally got a prison sentence. The woman from Frisco.
Yeah, Jenna Ryan.
Jen Ryan. She attended the January 6th thing, participated in it, took pictures, and she took a private jet out there. She tweeted this thing that she's not going to go to jail because she's blonde and she's white and all this other stuff. And it's funny. She only got 60 days in jail. I don't think that's enough, but it's still funny.
Yeah, I don't think it's nearly enough.
People act like none of the rules apply to them, and they probably go through life where none of the rules ever really have to apply to them. They get everything.
This woman, Jenna Ryan, is on Twitter. I still read her stuff. And she has her own there. Yep, she's on TikTok. She has a TikTok channel. And she is still, to this day, I think she posted yesterday, about how she didn't do anything wrong, and the Black Lives Matter protesters did worse and got nothing, and it's the DOJ's fault, and it's this fault, and she fucking hadn't learned a goddamn thing,
No, I'm going to. And she's probably going to run for something in Texas when she gets out. I don't know if she can, but
yeah, well,
I don't know how it works. Like, supposedly she won't be able to ever be real estate again, right?
I did look that up. It's up to the real estate licensing division, and some felonies, like financial felonies, are automatic deal breakers. Like,
that makes sense. You get large sums of money, so
like embezzlement or misappropriation of funds or something.
But going to a violent coup attempt.
But if you look at her record, and theoretically this is how they should do it, if they just looked at a record, they'd be like, oh, you have a misdemeanor charge for parading. I think that's what she got, is like a misdemeanor unlawful assembly or something. It's like, no, it doesn't look like a big deal. It looks like, like, honestly, you or me could have gotten,
what was it?
Yeah, we could have gotten arrested for the same thing when I was protesting outside of a Wendy's in Naples, Florida, or you were protesting against
I've attended many protests, and I'm lucky I never got arrested.
Right.
I made sure to skedoodle but I've attended many protests, and I had this one friend who was like, I want to get arrested. I'm like, why?
Yeah, fuck that.
Why? I don't give a fuck. You're just gonna get thrown. I wasn't gonna give a shit, and you're gonna be like, why the fuck did I do this? You're not fucking Abby Hoffman. Calm the fuck down, buddy.
I will say that about Jenna Ryan going to prison for 60 days. She probably should have gotten more. I know she should have gotten more. However, man, 60 days in prison, that ain't nothing I'm lining up to do.
I don't want to do one day in prison.
Right. Just the notion of getting checked into prison that first day, where you walk in and they handcuff you and they photograph you and they strip search you.
It's just that tweet of her saying she's never going to go, and then she gets it.
It's hilarious.
It's satisfying. Okay, so I found that Howard Stern said something about he went full blast on Aaron Rodgers. He didn't hold back.
Yeah.
He said, I don't even know where to begin with that story. I mean, fuck this fucking guy, Stern says. I'd throw this guy out of the football league so fast, what he did to his fellow teammates. He then praised Fox NFL analyst Terry Bradshaw. I guess Terry Bradshaw.
Bradshaw laid into him, yeah.
He said Bradshaw said he lied to everyone. Said on broadcast. Unfortunately, we got players that pretty much think only about themselves, and I'm extremely disappointed in the actions. But I mean, like, think about it. Why would Aaron Rodgers think of anybody? Most of these, like, what is he? What's his position?
Quarterback.
Yeah, these quarterback guys usually, like, they're put in this unique position where it's like, do they really need to be that big of a team player?
Well, I think it's funny because there are some NFL players that have said straight up, I'm not getting vaccinated. And that's, look, at least you know. Right, you're not going to go to the guy's house.
Those people suck, but yeah, at least they're upfront.
Yeah, at least you're upfront.
Lying, and not saying I'm immunized or fucking half-assing it, or you know.
And then you have weasels like Carson Wentz, the quarterback for the Colts, and he's like, "Well, it's a personal matter. I'm not going to discuss it." No. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, who just fucking straight up lies about it, and then gets pissed when he gets found out. You know, so like. That's the worst in my estimation.
And then you start talking about Joe Rogan of all people.
Fucking like, Joe Rogan. You know, like
Stern repeated that they should throw Rodgers out of the league so fast. Said, come on, dude, really? He continued, you know, the whole bullshit game. Yeah, I have the antibodies. Now, first of all, I don't know where these guys get their information. I mean, it has been proven. Get the vaccine.
Yeah. Well,
that is going to protect you from COVID, not the antibodies. There's been people who've gotten COVID multiple times. Yeah, you might not get COVID for a couple of weeks. Okay. You're going to get it again.
The one reason why Aaron Rodgers might have wanted to lie about his status is that I guess he is got a ton of advertising endorsement deals.
Didn't he lose a bunch?
He did. He had a bunch of them with hospitals and stuff. In Wisconsin area. And his other big one was an insurance company.
Yeah, these are all things that like, okay, so here's a good one. So there's this guy, you ever heard of this economist? I think he's an economist, this guy named Richard Wolff.
Name sounds real familiar.
Okay, he's like kind of like gets invited a lot of left-leaning stuff. He's on like shows and stuff. And he was on fucking of all shows, Jimmy Dore. That guy sucked.
Yeah.
He's kind of like in that fucking Joe Rogan, the guy was pushing horse paste. Well, this guy said he decided to go full on starting to appeal to anti-vaxxers. And he said this bullshit about companies that are forcing vaccines are they're against the labor movement or something. And I was like, what? I would have, and I actually tweeted this on his page, and I said, it got some people, let me tell you, I got some real fucking doozy responses. And I basically said that I would imagine a vaccine mandate in office would be greatly appreciated among a union because it would lead. It's probably one of the best employment safety protocols that unions usually ask for.
Yeah,
like that's always been unions serve many purposes besides to help, you know, eventually getting like a raise and then having better health insurance. But the one thing that unions really do that people don't ever think about, it makes sure that the job is safe for the people that work there. It makes sure that you don't have like locked doors and no windows. It makes unions make sure that there's better working conditions. So I would imagine a company saying to people, you have to be vaccinated would be celebrated by a union.
Yeah.
Because that is a safety protocol. And I said, this is why anti-vaxxers can't be in the labor movement because they don't get the point. I mean, literally, they don't get the point. I didn't think about that when I said that. But I'm like, no, they don't get the point. Like, no, you're not an ally to the labor movement. If you're an anti-vaxxer, like the whole point is to have a safe workplace.
Yeah, so it should be an OSHA matter or something, really. Like,
right. But that's the thing people don't ever think about, I think, when they think of unions. And they think about like benefits and, you know, getting more money. But I don't think they realize that unions are really important because it makes sure that you have better working conditions.
Yeah.
That's why chuds like Elon Musk hate unions.
Yeah, they do.
And or Jeff Bezos. You know, you got people pissing in bottles.
Yeah.
Strong unions would make sure that people get at least 3 bathroom breaks a day. without like it's those like these are the things that people don't realize that are points of units. Sorry, I know that I wanted to go into my that was the Union Minute in the YSGOAT. We always had that. Joseph gets his
My Taco Bell.
Gets his Taco Bell ad or his crypto grift that he's trying to push.
Right.
Did you see that Taco Bell has NFTs too?
No, but that makes perfect sense.
It totally makes sense. It's a shell game.
Non-fungible tacos. A shell game.
It's a total shell game. Extra crunchy.
Yes.
Have you had their Cantina taco?
Is that the real fancy one?
It's the new one.
Okay, I have not had.
All right, I know that I don't like you when you bring up stuff because I think you're like
on the take.
Yeah, which would be weird. I don't know. Paranoid. Again, Joseph has like he's constantly flashing his grills to me.
Right.
Grilled cheese that he yeah. Yeah, they have this new, it's actually really good.
Huh.
So, and they have like a black bean one. So,
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The black bean Cantina crispy melt taco.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had
and they told me when I ordered it that there was no rat hair in it. but then winked at me.
Right.
They said it is a promise at Taco Bell that 75% less rat hair.
Well, I'll tell you, I went to Taco Bell. Last time I went to Taco Bell was probably like 6 months ago. And my wife was like, I used to go to Taco Bell all the time when I was working outside the home. And my wife was like, hey, I'm really craving these tacos. We pick some up. And I used to go to Taco Bueno, but then they discontinued their vegetarian offerings. So they're dead to me. But so I go to Taco Bell and I just get I get a nachos bel grande without meat for me, and this cheesy potatoes, and I get my wife some tacos, and I get my daughter the frozen lemonade slush.
That's her food. That's all she gets. Here's a iced sugar.
She doesn't care for Taco Bell. She probably had like macaroni and cheese we made at home.
Oh, that's fine.
And then the bill's like fucking $20, right? And
you
it was
remember
like
when you were a kid, it was like the joke was like you had $10 and you could feed like 8 people with it. Everyone got like 2 tacos or something.
Yeah, tacos used to be like 49 cents, and they came with a bunch of shit already on it that you didn't have to like upcharge for.
Yep.
And they had the Mexican I remember getting taco, like a grip of food at Taco Bell.
Super cheap. It ain't that cheap anymore.
No, now it's just, I mean, look, I do think, like, I've seen on their window, like as I'm pulling up, they have pretty competitive starting pay now, which is a good thing. So I think that's the trade-off, is that they're not super cheap anymore.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think it has anything to do with the labor. I think it's just they just charge more money. I mean, well, think about this. When I'm talking about how cheap it was, I'm talking about like when I was like 18, 17, and that is over 25 years ago.
Yeah. So. Well, that's why I haven't been back in 6 months. Like, I always liked Taco Bell, but the real appeal was like you felt like you were getting a steal. Like
now you're just getting a steal.
Right. Taco Bell is like, we're gonna stop the steal. We're gonna stop.
Jenna Ryan's at the register.
charging me like $4.29 for fucking nachos bel grande, not even discounting it because I don't get meat.
Back when I was my day, what? Without what?
Without even giving me a discount for not getting meat on it.
Oh, they don't do that. No. You could get like a burrito. Yeah. Like you get a burrito that has like a ton of shit on, and you could tell them like remove this, and this, and you're still gonna get charged the same.
Yeah.
If you went in there and asked them, I want this, but can you add this to it? Oh, they'll charge you more.
Right.
But they will literally, like, there was this girl I was hanging out with, this was years ago, and she always used to get this one thing. It was basically just a tortilla with cheese. Like, that's all it was. She would get like something like that would have beef and something else in it. And I'd be like, why don't you just get like you're spending like 50, you're spending like 50, 60 cents more. They're literally Like you could
I'll
say
tell
I
you.
want this, and you could pick the cheapest menu on the item and ask for that, and they could literally give you the same thing.
That's a rare another problem with Taco Bell for me, or any restaurant for
I'm
me,
glad we're
is
talking about this.
well, I will carefully craft my menu selections based on what looks good and what costs what and everything. So I can get in and out of Taco Bell for under $5 still. I get one of them cheesy potato wraps or something, a black bean taco. But the minute
You're
I
the
ask,
enemy of the CEO.
the minute I ask my wife or my kid what they want, and it all of a sudden the bill like quadruples with like only a smaller amount of food, because it's like, hey, they have.
They're not thinking of the economics.
No.
They don't care.
I'm like, look, they got a 3 taco for $2 deal. Do you want that? Yeah,
No,
but I really
I
want yeah.
I want the fucking cheesy gordita crunch.
Exactly.
You're not
really
getting, yeah.
Really, honey? Because that's $7.99, and the only additional ingredient is onion. We could get an onion. We could get.
You know what you do is you don't ask her. You just buy it,
and
you tell, and then you give it to her. And
I always get caught. I once tried to get.
Let me see the receipt. I want to make sure this Taco Bell costs $50.
I had some nerds in my car once, and my kid wanted a slushie with nerds from Sonic. And so I got the slushie and I put my own nerds in it and stirred it up. She immediately knew. She's like, these aren't the nerds. I was like, what do you mean they're not the nerds?
The fuck? What do you say? Like 30 cents?
Like 50 cents or whatever. Like,
hey, that shit adds up, man. That adds up.
I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't had the nerds already in the car. I just happened to have a package of nerds in the car.
I call it nerds, but it was just an old box of Dentine. And I crumbled it up and put it in my daughter's.
Immediately knew that it wasn't the right kind of nerds from the
Sonic nerds.
Like the fucking Princess and the Pea or something.
Fucking, yeah. Like this Five Below nerds you're trying to pass off on me.
Well, I had the legit nerds. I suspect that Sonic doesn't use actual nerds. They use like GERDs or something.
They use like grizzled fat that got caramelized with sugar.
They're called like dweebs or something.
Dweebs, dorks.
Dorks, yeah.
Dorks. We put some dorks in your fucking slushy.
So yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So I guess
what the hell happened? Yeah, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Okay, you know what? I don't really have anything else to say about the guy.
No, me neither.
He's a douchebag, it sounds like. And you know, he'll not face any consequence. Oh, one last thing. He was on some like show.
Yeah.
And like some podcast with some other football players were all, and they're all like-minded, so they're all assholes.
Yeah.
And he was wearing
the
Rise of Skywalker hoodie.
Yeah.
And I left a comment on the Twitter and I said, Aaron Rodgers is wearing a hoodie of the most despised Star Wars movie. Even Mark Hamill tweeted and pointed out that like how funny it is that he's wearing like, even he's like, that movie sucks. He was in it. The most despised. Like this guy's just trolling people now at this point.
That's funny.
You know what? At the end of the day, he's fine. I mean, what is he like? How many years left did he have? Probably have football left.
He's only got a few left. I mean, the quarterbacks can play a long time, but
yeah, but he's probably like, you know what? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, if he loses all his endorsement deals, he'll get a fuck.
Yeah, he's got enough money. The only punishment he'll get that's any sort of satisfying is that he's super butthurt about this. This is going to eat away at him forever that he got caught and people called him a liar. And he's going
but then he doubles downs on it. He doesn't like really apologize. And then he goes into like, he brings up Joe Rogan. So you already know he's like going into Chud territory.
But you know, he's super defensive and hurt about it and everything. And that's the only satisfaction anyone's going to get is that Aaron Rodgers is butthurt that he got caught. You know, it's a well, speaking of being butthurt and getting caught,
right? Did you see that little dork crying? Speaking of dorks, but not like the candy that,
right?
You see Kyle Rittenhouse crying on the stand today? Or whatever the fuck that was. That
did you see all the memes people made of that?
Did you see the one I done?
Yeah.
The fucking Tommy Wiseau and him.
Yeah.
And then there's one with like something avocado, whatever his name is. He's some.
Oh yeah.
It's like a TikTok person, whatever. There's a meme with like avocado. He's like this pudgy guy, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's like all these different foods.
Right.
And he's always looking like he's crying or something. He's like eating them. And I guess I don't really know those guys, but like they put the blubber face crying of Rittenhouse in front of the food. So
yeah. I had actually had to Google that to figure out what was going on with that one. I saw one where they made Kyle Rittenhouse going down a roller coaster.
Yeah, I've seen that one. There's one with him. No one knows what this movie is, but like I know I picked Tommy Wiseau because I figured more people know about his. We put that on the YSGOAT. You can find that on our Instagram. It's the one where he goes, "You're tearing me apart." You know, you were supposed to write, but you didn't do it. The prosecutors are tearing me apart.
That's right. Yeah.
I told you, Mike, write that. And you're like, nah. I'm busy trying to trick my daughter with these fake nerds and Sonic slushy.
Trying to stir them evenly in with the straw. Trying to stir them.
Hey, what the fuck is this shit? Why it's got lint in it? Why is it a pocket lint in the slushy?
I think that the nerds from Sonic are sitting in the slushy for a long time, relatively speaking, and they are softer. And so when I put my
I got you.
I think that's how I got caught.
Down a little bit.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I just chipped a tooth.
Right. These are not macerated like the
you like tried to save 50 cents and now you have like a $600
$2,000 in dental bills.
You know? Damages. It's like something George Costanza would come up with. Okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse today was probably the most satisfying of the days. So this court case has been going on for this is the second week.
Yeah.
It has been a complete shit show. The judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse case has already proven many times that he is in favor of this kid right out the gate. And we talked about this in the past couple of podcasts. We talked about it a lot in the last episode. He said that we're not allowed to label the basically Kyle Rittenhouse's victims as victims. Opening this, the Onion had a great parody, as they always do, with saying that the judge orders that Kyle Rittenhouse be listed as hero when mentioned. So the whole court case, basically the whole case is Kyle Rittenhouse, was he defending or offending? That's basically it. Was he there defending himself, or did he actually just murder these people?
Right.
The judge sucks too because he's basically allowed the defendants, which is Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyers, to actually be the prosecutors. Prosecute the victims of Kyle Rittenhouse and the people that were there. And to prosecute also even the prosecutors, the actual prosecutors. Like they're the defendants and they're constantly has to be on the defense. Like today, so today was like a big game changer because Kyle Rittenhouse finally took the stand. And I talked to you about that and I said, when's this fucking kid gonna take the stand? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you told me that in theory, he doesn't even have to.
Oh yeah, he
which I thought was crazy. Well, if that was the case, why would they even put him up there then?
Well, that's a good question because the Fifth Amendment says that you nobody has to testify if they don't want to. You can plead the Fifth, you know, and that's fine. It's kind of weird. Like usually you would only call the guy up as a witness if you thought it was going very poorly. But from what I could tell, the case had been going very well for the defense. They had a judge that clearly favored. Yeah,
everyone's like basically acting like in the past couple of days that this kid's gonna walk. Yeah. Which I feel like he's probably got, even regardless of what like the jury comes out, this judge is an asshole. He's already proven to be a MAGA chud. Did you see the thing that leaked about his phone?
Yeah.
Like accent, like when the court, his phone went off and it was literally like
a Trump campaign song. It was the God Bless the USA song.
Yeah, it was literally played all the time in the Trump campaign.
Yeah.
And it was like played on his phone. And you know, again, that could be a coincidence.
Sure.
But the way shit's playing out and the way this guy is acting and behaving, he's a fucking MAGA chud.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the interview Kyle Rittenhouse, well, the defendants, of course, so he cried during the defendants part. What the fuck was that? What was he crying about exactly? And
I don't. That caught me off guard.
Weirdest.
I was listening
What?
to it. I caught me off guard. I was listening to the broadcast, and all of a sudden I heard what could only be described as the sound of like a Saint Bernard choking down. Yeah, it just was. It was like this weird guttural.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere, and it didn't have to go on too long because the judge is like, "We're gonna take a intermission," and then like the camera went to his mom, and his mom was crying, and it's like so coordinated. You know, it was coordinated. The whole thing was he was coached to do that by his defendants, and right on the show, they try to create this narrative that he was there to help people, that he has EMT training, that he has all these. He did stuff with the fire department, but then it's like then it gets as more stuff comes out, it just gets weird. I mean, we know it's not kosher to begin with. This kid was there with an AR-15, and he was there to fuck people up with it. That's the only reason why he was there. Titus, who's a comedian, he tweeted this thing. He says, "More pictures of Kyle Rittenhouse providing first aid to victims. Notice the gloves so he doesn't infect them with fingerprints." He was wearing gloves when holding his AR-15 that he shot people with.
It was just like all sorts of weird shit. Like I don't get me wrong. Kyle Rittenhouse should go to prison for what he did, and he's at fault for what he did. However, what the fuck kind of troll community did he come from? Like, his parents are like just god awful. You know, the parents are like they really did a number.
They try to act like she's just this like everyday mom, and all these other people who are watching it are supposed to. They're trying to craft this thing that this could be your kid on the stand. You know, it's like kind of like the same thing with like Kavanaugh. You said we talked about that, like where white women or they were saying, well, my kid will be accused of rape, or my kid will be accused of doing this. That's why they don't like, you know, all these things, and that's why they supported Kavanaugh. It was unfair what happened to Kavanaugh, which is funny because he even blubbered and cried on stage, and people memes where it was him and Rittenhouse both crying.
Right.
And so they're trying to craft this thing that this woman is just an everyday American, just like you. And that's not the case at all. She's a fucking militia member.
Militia gun nut. And then the police department is like giving this kid a bulletproof vest. Like, what the fuck
is that?
Are you serious? Why are you anticipating that this kid is going to need a bulletproof vest for something? I mean, like,
why is a 17-year-old kid getting a bulletproof vest?
The kid's like hanging out with friends, and like there's this one exchange where Kyle's like, well, I gave my buddy money to buy me a gun, but it was illegal. He
couldn't legally buy it.
Yeah, and so he was going to hold it, and then we were going to do a private sale and blah blah. I'm like, the fuck kind of nonsense is this? I mean, you're basically
that sounds shady in itself. That seems like a crime in itself. Like, I'm like, why is that acceptable?
Everyone around this kid, and again, this kid is at fault. He should go to prison. But like, man, he did not have a great
this kid
chance at like
he's proven to be a piece of shit. Like I said, there's that footage, images of him back in like last Thanksgiving when he got released from jail, and there was like a bar in Wisconsin, and he was hanging out with the Proud Boys, and he's wearing a shirt that says like "free as fuck." You know, I'm like, you know, I posted a picture, I tweeted, said, I know this won't come up in the case, but man, this was a huge tell. This kid has no remorse for what he did. He was there to kill people. He was not there to protect people. He was there to start shit. Yeah. And he could make all these claims. So the prosecutors, when they finally talked, even though the judge would interrupt every word they would say, the prosecutor would ask him, how are you supposed to help people while holding an AR-15? Why do you need an AR-15? And then they're you know, Kyle, it's like, it's funny. He keeps going back and forth, and he's trying to be ignorant, but he's fully aware.
Yeah.
He knows all about these weapons. He knows all the shit. He plays Call of Duty too. And you wouldn't learn about all these fucking weapons from just playing Call of Duty. That's like the joke. So you don't even have to be even own a gun. You learn about all these things. And you know, he's talking about the AR-15 and everything like that. And even the lawyer was like, I know you're aware that the bullets are totally different, and the impact and what they do. And then the argument is like, okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse is defending himself. And that one guy who survived, who was on the stand, who he was like, he didn't do that great of a job, but whatever. guy fucking has a massive hole in his arm.
Yeah, he can only do what he can do. Whatever.
He had a gun. Okay, well, the argument is that Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun and he was there to defend himself. Why can't, what's this guy's name? That's not Rosenbaum. What's the guy's name?
Oh, I don't, the judge, you mean?
No, the guy who got it. Who
I don't remember that guy's name.
Who's alive.
Yeah.
The one victim who's alive.
I don't remember.
Why is his, couldn't you, he had a gun too. Well, can he defend himself? Kyle already killed 2 people at that point. Isn't this guy technically defending himself from Kyle?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the argument. Like, Kyle already murdered 2 people and they didn't happen like right away. And this guy has a gun. I mean, you can make the same fucking argument. This guy is defending
never
himself.
Made any. That was, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about gun laws. Like, I don't understand why, like, I don't understand it in general. Like, if I have a gun and I'm at an Arby's and I see another guy come in with a gun, am I afraid of that guy? Can I pop him? I mean, it just seems like the whole notion of the way we treat guns and all this shit is just ridiculous. If Rittenhouse gets off, I don't, and I'm not saying like, hey, we should do this, or I just legitimately don't understand in my head why it wouldn't be okay for anyone to go to any protests and just start shooting, because protests
that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. You're going to see a bunch of these kids showing up now, all these like fucking incel chud brats or even older people showing up and being like, I can get away with this. They may not like what happens to them. They may not get the same, Kyle Rittenhouse is a special case because he became like the right decided to put all their stock behind him. There was one funny part, and even the judge had to like explain to him, but the judge talks to him like he's his fucking grandfather.
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse like acts like he didn't do anything wrong because he didn't know what the law was. Right. And the judge had to explain to him that just because you don't know that a law is a law, that doesn't make it okay to do
right. Things. Yeah. It was something like
it's like fucking what's his name telling Fred Savage and Princess Bride about fucking Honeycup, whatever her name is.
Right, Buttercup.
Like Buttercup, that's a Honeycup. Buttercup. Like the way he's talking to him, it's like, dude, do you want to play catch with him? What the fuck, man? Yeah. What is going on with this? But like this kid, that whole cry was orchestrated because he never got emotional ever again. No. That whole thing was meant to, and I don't know. It worked on the people that's going to work on regardless, that shit. But I think at the end of the day, he looked like a fucking, it looked fake as fuck.
It did look fake as
like somebody, oh man, there was one good tweet of somebody saying like, it was like an actor or whatever said that this is, let me see if I can find it. I might have retweeted it. It was like, was it, I don't even know who said it, but it was like, as if they know they got the part already.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, this is how you act when you know you already got the part or something. I saw that tweet. That was well, I don't know. I think that the crying probably worked on the jury when they saw it, but then like literally 20 minutes later, he's smart alecking his way through the prosecuting attorney's question.
Yeah, and he's all of a sudden not crying. And that was the same thing with Kavanaugh. When Kavanaugh was, anytime he would talk, he would get emotional with his Republican buddies, and when it was Democrat, all of a sudden he like totally changed his personality and became a smug asshole. So no, there was nothing legitimate about his crying. There's nothing legitimate about Rittenhouse's crying. Matt Gaetz tweeted not guilty, and then I retweeted and said Matt is definitely guilty. I don't know. It just, if you look at it, just says not guilty with exclamation points. It doesn't refer to the thing below. It doesn't show it. I posted another one. This was another meme, and I don't think most people understand what this is. Did you ever see the movie Wonderlust?
I don't think so.
Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston. They play people from New York, and like shit happens. They end up on like a hippie commune.
I have not seen that.
Oh my god, it's such a good movie. It's like one of our favorite comedies. We'll like watch it at least once or any other. Like we'll try to watch it every couple years. Ken Marino plays Paul Rudd's brother.
Oh, nice.
He's just a douchebag. He's like the textbook definition of a douchebag, his character. And one of the parts is he gets caught. He's constantly cheating on his wife. Then his wife finally catches him, and he's like, whatever, come on. And then he starts like making this weird, like whimpering face. And the wife's like, what are you doing? He's like, are you pooping? And he's like, no, I'm crying. And that's exactly what it made me think of when this kid was like fake ass crying.
Just like Ken Marino.
Yeah, the weird like poopy face.
And then later, when Rittenhouse said he wanted to dip his balls in it, I was like, he's taken. He's just gonna dip my balls.
I think the judge,
completely cribbing Marino's repertoire.
Some guy, some crypto bro, got me really good because I wrote the same energy with Tommy Wiseau. And he did one of me in my photo because I use a great photo. It's a great photo. I look excellent.
Uh-huh.
He posted me and he used what's his face from Dumb and Dumber. Not Jim Carrey, the other, what's his name? Great actor.
Yeah. Not Jeff Bridges. Who is that?
Look up Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. It's Jeff Bridges, isn't it?
No.
God, who is it?
Let's look up Dumb and Dumber. He's the second star.
I'm looking. Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. And someone wrote, bruh, you literally look like the dude from Dumb and Dumber. And I just retweeted, wrote, nice. I'm like, oh no, how dare you like compare me to like the less obnoxious lovable character from Dumb and Dumber. Oh no, I'm wait, what's his name again? The actor? I totally like just flew out of my brain. Jeff Daniels. Yeah. Oh no, don't compare me to a beloved actor that plays like great characters. Like, oh my God, you got me. Someone made a joke and said that guy probably
someone said he's probably turning that into an NFT as we speak.
Crypto bro is probably so proud of his tweet. He's turning it into an NFT as we speak. One person wrote, he's still an Aspen. And I said, yes, I'm still taking that dump. That's like the best part of the movie.
Yeah, when he's in the
shit. I'm still an Aspen. Yep, I'm still on the toilet. I thought that was great. I was like, okay, I don't know. You compared me. You got me, guy. You got me. I thought this was a good picture I posted. I thought I was posting like a glamour shot. I'm really upset. I said that the judge in the Rittenhouse case demands that the prosecutor apologize to Rittenhouse after asking him a question. That's not. All right, here we go. The year is 2032. Wisconsin GOP Congressman Kyle Rittenhouse has murdered 3 members of the House. Dems, of course. The next day on the floor, Rittenhouse blames the woke mob and the purveyors of cancel culture to thunderous applause. Now, that may sound like ridiculous.
Right.
Why is it ridiculous?
Yeah.
The House, there was people in the House who actively participated in January 6th. They're never going to face, as far as we know right now, they're never going to face any consequences whatsoever. And this kid murdered 3 people who, this was a total political hit job. This kid being a right-wing chud, part of right-wing militias, targeted what the right would call Antifa or whatever, and they're just protesters. That's all they are. So what I wrote, 2032, Kyle Rittenhouse will be 28 or whatever.
Yeah, I could see it.
Why he could totally be in. He could kill 3 people, and I mean, if we go on that path, the way we're going, like, at some point, one of them
for sure.
Kill them. I mean, AOC posted this tweet like a day or 2 ago. It's a really good one, talking about how, it was that Paul Gosar, that piece of shit, like a literal Nazi, and he posted this fun anime thing of him as like an Attack on Titan, where he's killing AOC and Biden, and she basically tweeted saying like, this creep that's in the member of the House is basically putting out videos threatening my life. And of course, the GOP will do nothing about it. She's like, I remember when that one guy called her like a fucking bitch, that one congressman, that guy faced no penalty for doing that. Marjorie Taylor Greene has like assaulted her practically multiple times. Nothing was done about it. And it's ridiculous. I don't know if we blame the leadership and Nancy Pelosi on that. I don't know. Like, it is.
Well,
it seems like these people get a pass. Like it shouldn't just be left up to the GOP.
it is tough because you, for good or for ill, like 30% of America votes for these cretins. You know, the people like Gozer and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, and there's like a third of the country will vote for these people reliably. You know,
Yep.
and this is a group that it's become like really scary. This I saw Eric Swalwell on TV before we started recording, and he had this little catchy little phrase he used. He said like the GOP chooses violence instead of voting, and they choose something else instead of something else. And it's true that this group is like increasingly unhinged. It's just like what we were saying about Aaron Rodgers. They don't want to follow the rules. They won't follow any rules they don't want to follow. They don't.
They
follow
get away with it,
and then they lie about it, and then or hide it. And then when they get caught, they're like, "Well, fuck you. I'll just do what I'm going to do what I want." You know. And how do you deal with that? Like, I guess Nancy Pelosi could strip them of committee assignments, or she could do all sorts of shit. But like, they're just going to grow stronger that way. You know, it feeds into their martyr complex, and they get more and more vociferous, and then they
they act like they're the ones rebelling, but they're not. They're not rebelling. They're doing the opposite.
Yeah, the only way, and this is the irony, is that like passing an infrastructure bill, that's what beats them. You know, I'm not even sure that will, because
it won't. I mean, the people that vote for them aren't even thinking about an infrastructure bill. They'll just say it's communist stuff.
Yeah,
that's all they have to say to them.
I read another paper from my favorite state, West Virginia, the other day, and it was a big policy paper, real well written, 20 pages long, and this is crazy. West Virginia currently has one of the highest outbreaks of HIV in the United States.
Wow, remember under Pence supposedly in Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Wisconsin, no, Wyoming.
No, Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a journey. No, Missouri, no. North Dakota, South Dakota, Idaho.
Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Yeah, AIDS started ravaging. Yeah. There was like the joke when he got put as like the COVID, the guy who was going to lead on COVID. They're like, we're going to put the guy who like allowed AIDS to ravage his state as governor.
Well, this guy in West Virginia is like, we got a bad drug problem, HIV problem, which is because we have a bad needle drug problem, which is because now people are shooting their oxy because it's harder to get, and they need to make it last longer, and they need to cut it with stuff. And the solutions West Virginia are looking at involve needle exchange programs and cash payments to oxy addicts and shit like that. It's basically just like a bunch of like, help us keep doing what we're doing while we fight infrastructure programs that'll give us jobs. You know, it all stems from like, none of them work in the coal mines anymore because we don't fucking live in Middle Earth. And we don't mine shit for a living anymore, like the fucking dwarves or something, you know? And I don't know, it's hard, you know. I guess that's getting back to the infrastructure.
Every time you bring that up, I just think of Gimli going, Erdmart.
Yes.
You may have my bow. Erdmart. Did you see like a huge GOP, like a billionaire that usually donates and funds Republicans is coming out in full support of Joe Manchin? Oh. Yeah, it's great. Oh. It's great. It's wonderful. Oh. Great country we live in. So back to, we'll just finish up the Rittenhouse thing. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm glad to see this little shit. It's kind of funny. I don't think I ever heard him speak before.
Yeah, me neither.
I think maybe like I might have saw a video or two, like when, because he was there was videos of him speaking that night, you know, but I'd never seen him like really speak. And, you know, it's kind of like when you saw what's his face speak for the first time, and you're just like, it was the guy, Ivanka's husband, Jared.
Yeah, Jared.
You're just like, yeah, don't talk anymore. I mean, this kid sounds exactly what I thought he'd sound.
Yeah, I still remember the first time I heard Jared Kushner speak, and he was going on about his X10 modulator, and it was just like
underwhelming is the best description. But like, I don't know. What do you think is going to come out? You think? I mean,
I don't know, man.
There's got to be something. This kid can't just walk.
Well, that's the thing, is that I think they I wonder if it would have been made more sense to first put him on trial for like crossing state lines with, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. They were like, the prosecutors trying to get him on, which I don't think they tried to. They were able to get him on. Is Kyle like went just constantly contradicted everything he said. From what the prosecutor's like, you're not an EMT guy, and why would an EMT guy wouldn't be holding a AR-15?
I don't know. It's real hard to say. I think he's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those ones where he's found guilty on a lesser charge. You know, the jury's going to go in. They're going to be there for a day. They're going to send a note to the judge. Hey, can we consider a lesser charge? The judge will be like, you know, only if it includes milk and cookies for my little Kyle.
Yeah. The only sentencing I'm going to give Kyle is a Thanksgiving meal at my house.
Right. You know,
I sentenced Kyle to turkey.
Yeah.
But if you try getting the drumstick, you're going to jail, buddy.
I could see him going in. I don't think that these 12 jurors are going to want to go home and say,
I'm going to give you a second helping.
Right. But like they don't want to go home and say like, yeah, we made it okay for shit like this to happen.
They will. They don't care.
Well, we'll see. My gut is he'll get something, but I don't know. You know, I mean, like history says he won't get anything. So
the judge is like, couldn't make it any more obvious that he's totally in on it. And the defendants were trying to already make it a mistrial.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Like, oh, they wanted it a mistrial with prejudice, which would mean that you could never bring him to court again.
How does that work?
Well, if the prosecution egregiously, let's say the prosecution paid a witness to lie on the stand, then the defense could say, my client will never get a fair trial. He needs to get off. And that would happen. Like the even if the defendant were like guilty, he'd get off, you know? So I don't know. I mean, like, we'll see. The judges really fucked things up. I don't know,
man. The whole thing is just fucking garbage. I mean,
well, look, Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines. This is just a state charge. The feds could get him. You know, he could get off on these state charges and the feds could charge him tomorrow.
That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah.
You think that'll happen?
I don't know. I mean, I think that like if I don't know. I think that they would see what the jury did, and if the jury gives him some bullshit light sentence, I'll bet you they leave it at that. And if the jury gets him off, you know, lets him go free, then they'd wait and see what the reaction is and maybe choose to prosecute. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything good's going to come out of it. The only thing that I just feel like in a rational world, I'm not saying like, oh, he'd get life in prison, but like he should serve like a decade.
Yeah.
You know? Like people have gotten like way less. I feel like I'm like so jaded by all these different things that we expect the worst to always happen, that we're like, no, fuck that. That kid should get life in prison. Like he should get life in prison. He should never fucking see the daylight. He should never be allowed to have fucking kids and be able to, you know, he killed 2 people. And again, the argument they're trying to create is that he was there as self-defense. He was not there. He was there he was with Proud Boys and like fucking, he was with domestic, like they were like a group of people he was with, right?
I could see because of it. Yeah, no, you're right. I could see because of his age giving him like 20 years and allowing parole. I mean, like sometimes they do that. Like people change.
5 years.
Well, I'm not saying that's what I want or anything, but I'm just saying like I'm not for putting a 17-year-old away forever. Like in general, maybe they should stay away forever. Maybe he goes to jail and becomes worse and you got to keep him there forever. But like, I don't know if the kid did time after 20 years or whatever, I wouldn't have a problem with him getting paroled in general, like depending on what he did with his life.
Well, I just want to, before we move on, I just want to read a couple of things. So
Yeah.
I've been getting, all right. So, I posted like political stuff on my page and stuff like that. But one of the things I posted over a year ago was a ad for our podcast. This one right here.
Yep.
We did one, and it one of the episodes, and in the ad, the famous image of him like pre-shooting, like where he's like holding his gun. He just looks like a little porker, and he's like, made all black and white, and he looks like it makes it look more psychotic looking, But I've been getting inundated, like just fucking trolls and bots because there's some hashtags, and they got like all these private accounts, these trolls and everything, like just inundating this post from a year ago.
That's crazy.
It says 2020. And it's like all these crazy, like, like protecting community from destruction. It's good versus evil. He was cleaning up graffiti and putting out preventing fires. When they attacked him, that's when he had to take out some trash.
Yeah.
And then this guy wrote, his name is Stoic X Clown. He wrote, Trump is coming back. The country doesn't like lockout mandates or riots, and they're apologists. All right, that's one. Whatever. This one guy wrote acquitted, and I wrote your mom acquitted. This guy wrote, monkeywave.executable, exe. You could only murder people. They were demons, so it's not murder. They were demons, the people he killed. That's good. Kyle cast the demons haunting Kenosha back to the pits of hell. Oh, that's normal. It's totally rational. Ha ha, always thinking about him, I see. Rittenhouse did the world a favor. Rittenhouse for president. Okay, that's psychotic shit right there.
Nice.
Kyle's a hero. Now go cry. Hello. You are too cute, snowflake. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you need to do one of those Facebook comments, TikToks with these.
Another coolest snowflake. I'm not a MAGA church. Kyle is hero and deserves a medal. Also, LOL, your artwork is awful. Everyone's a critic. This one person wrote, it's kind of funny. He wrote self-defense against a plastic bag and a skateboard. You don't even believe it yourself. That one was against Kyle Rittenhouse, of course. Yeah. Easy self-defense against monsters. And then I let's see if I have any more. I like screenshotted these. I block them and then I screenshot first. There were so many more. Some of them were like just killing libs and like it's just all kinds of crazy shit. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, why am I getting like all these? Like every time I go back on this,
that is weird. Yeah,
I'll get like 6 or 7 new comments, and I'm like, and it's all from private accounts.
Yep.
And it's like none of these people follow me or like that. Half of them you can't. They're follow, like I said, private accounts. Some of them don't even have a profile photo, and they're just like trolling in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse. And I'm like, and it's just because there's some hashtags on this post. I'm like, this is from fucking a year ago. That's insane. Crazy. That's insane. There really is like troll farms and shit like that. Literally all these people do for a living. And they do it in other countries. The Republicans use them. It's a known fact. It was a known fact. Came out like Charlie Kirk had like a whole troll farm that he used.
Yeah. Every once in a while I'll get a response like that on mine, and it just looks like a little canned or whatever. And I'll cut and paste the tweet into the search feature, and I'll see the same thing like 70 times. Like they're just literally cutting and pasting their response.
Yeah, it's copy pasta.
Yeah.
It's like, how many photos of a dude with sunglasses and a little goatee in a truck?
Yeah.
It's just different photos of the same guy.
Yeah.
Just different versions. I don't know. I mean, we're not going to know. I guess maybe the end of the week we might know.
They said the defense is still calling witnesses on Monday. They have witnesses scheduled on Monday. So I don't think we're going to find out until middle
Donald
of next week.
Trump. What witnesses do they have?
They're going to call
we're going to talk to the dumpster that was on fire and
a
ask them what they
self-defense
think.
expert I heard that they're going to call, and some
Oh
other.
my God. What the fuck is a self-defense expert?
Dude, if I were the defense, I'd rest. I'd be like, whoop, Your Honor, we're done. And the judge would be like, not until you have pumpkin pie, you know.
In my house for Thanksgiving, and I sentence you to a second helping.
Yeah. So if I were the defense, I'd be like, no, we're good here. Because I think that the defense is probably in pretty good shape right now. But
I mean, are they though? I don't know. Today, I thought the prosecutor did a pretty good job. I mean, to a point, the judge wasn't going to let him do anything.
It depends. I mean, like, I think that the jury, I mean, who knows what the jury is, but let's just assume that they're people not smart enough to get out of jury duty. And they're just like the average layperson. And they see the judge yelling at the prosecutor constantly. They're going to naturally have an affinity towards the defendant, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. The defendants, man, they look like fucking worms. Yeah. There was like one part where the defendant tried saying something and the prosecutor was like, are you fucking kidding me? And there was like something about a pixel or something. I stopped watching after a couple hours. So I didn't see like the end. Yeah, like the judge like tried to throw something out because like a pixel enlargement in a photo or something. He was like making these like, it was super weird. Regardless about, we're gonna move on, but like regardless, this is a kind of a kangaroo court.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, in a way, the judge, I mean, like, okay, people are like, oh, this judge needs to be thrown out. That's not, is that good? That can't happen. I mean, what could the judge do?
I don't think so. I don't think you can. I think that you could ask for like judicial, you could argue judicial misconduct, but it's got to be like,
I just feel like this judge was hand selected on purpose. Because let me tell you, like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, like the conservative GOP and all that stuff, they went full behind this kid and this case. And I mean,
I don't know.
How did this judge get selected?
Well, the judge was put on the bench by a Democrat originally in the 80s.
Well,
you know, I mean, I know people change, but
that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
It was a Democrat in the 80s. It's very different now.
That's true. It's true.
You know, all right. So no, but I'm just saying, like, how did this judge get selected for this specific case?
I don't know. I think it was just the judge that was assigned that you know, that I think it was just a random thing.
The whole thing's super fishy and weird.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I mean, I feel like that's more, if this kid gets absolutely nothing, then yes, there's something up.
Yeah.
There was a screw job. All right. Well, speaking of guns and murder, you know, murdering of teenagers or young people, the NRA.
Right. This is a weird story.
Well, it doesn't shock me. So this will be a quick one. All right. NRA Columbine. So there was a story or something that surfaced that said after the Columbine happened, which the NRA, that's really, I feel like as shitty or whatever they may have been before that, that's when they went full on shit.
Yes,
after Columbine, they proved that they were a horrible organization and they cared more about guns than kids and people in general.
Yes.
They were trying to figure out what they would do after Columbine, and there was a suggestion going around that they would donate like $1 million or whatever to whatever, and they decided no, not to do that. And that my theory is the reason why they decided not to do that, and it's not really a theory, it's more just like you don't ever admit guilt,
right?
And they decide to go full in on we're not guilty of anything. If you donate money or show any remorse in any way, sometimes it could be showing that you're guilty in some way, and it would hurt the NRA or what they think and the people that like the NRA. This instead emboldened gun owners and emboldened the NRA by doing the opposite and basically shitting on the Columbine.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I saw that story and my first thought was like, well, of course that's what happened. Like, who would think otherwise? And then I didn't even blame the NRA from like an intellectual business perspective. Like, of course you're not going to admit guilt or whatever. But I thought the weirdest thing, or the thing that was like the shittiest, was apparently a senator called them right after the shooting and asked for talking points. And they said, well, we'll get back with you and tell you what to say. And the senator was like, thank you. And like, so there's literally a guy or a woman.
You own me.
Yeah.
No agency.
Who literally is just like, tell me what to do, boss. You know, to like this fucking fringe group of horrible people. And that I was like, it wasn't even this guy's, I'm assuming it's a guy, but it wasn't even this person's first thought to like have an opinion about it. It was, I must contact the NRA to figure out what
they are the
say.
ones that fund him. It's like the same thing, like Donald Trump like would kiss the NRA's ass during his presidency.
Yeah.
He kissed the shit out of their ass. He licked it. He ate it. He took second helpings, like Kyle Rittenhouse will at Judge Schroeder's Thanksgiving jamboree. Like, no, like there were tons of mass shootings under Trump. I don't think people remember that because COVID happened.
Right.
But in the first couple of years of Trump's presidency, there were like a shit ton of mass shootings. It wasn't until COVID that it like, and every time he was like the hugest defender. He was they raised more money for him than I think like any other presidents.
I believe it.
They gave him and that money, and it was proven again that a lot of their money also came from Russia.
Yeah. That Maria Botana, whatever.
Batuni, whatever it is, the honey pot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
if the NRA came out and said, here's $1 million, we feel bad, we'll do something, the NRA would not be what they are today. They probably wouldn't be anything. They would be a totally different world. But they decided, no, we're thinking about ourselves and we're a gun lobbyist, and you know, our job is to sell guns and put in politicians that will sell guns and keep guns if you show a admit of guilt, you're basically saying that a bunch of people were killed and we know why they were killed, because they were shot to death by the things that you lobby for. So you're already like, that'd be like if a cigarette manufacturer, now supposedly they donate to like, because they legally have to.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it'd be like if they came out and like, I don't know, gave to like lung cancer or something and said, sorry, sorry about that.
It's crazy.
They're not going to admit to these things.
No.
It kind of goes. So it's just interesting to see that there was a moment of conscience, and then that the moment of the conscience left and
quickly
never came back. And they had that actor who was in the 8 movie.
Yeah, Charlton Heston.
Yeah, and say, "My cold dead hands."
Yeah,
like literally, what, 2 days, a week? It was like literally right after Columbine. It's disgusting.
It is
so disgusting. And then they've been doing this shit for years. Parkland, I feel like, was when the NRA is definitely not the organization. They're not as powerful as they were.
Oh no.
And they become even more politically aligned with the Republicans.
Yep.
They're not like a neutral. I mean, I don't think they were back then either, but they definitely are not a neutral. They are literally just an arm of the GOP. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next thing. Speaking of arms of the GOP,
the Josh Hawley thing,
anti-fat November or whatever. Like, he went on like Axios or whatever, and went on this whole thing about masturbating or something.
He did. He went on. His big shtick now is he's going to make masculinity the centerpiece of his push.
Oh, when I look at him, I just think of masculinity.
And he's just terrible. He was one of the primary instigators of January 6th.
Yep, he was rooting them on. This video footage of him walking and rooting on the people right before.
He doesn't even live in the state he represents. Like he uses his sister's address or something to like qualify to run.
Fucking Claire state. McCaskill allowed him to win.
Yeah. And
shitty she was.
He always comes up with terrible ideas, and he's always like just wrong about everything. And now he is making masculinity his thing. And the weird thing is he is not very what you would think of as a masculine guy.
I mean, it's like, what's his face too? Like Tom Cotton. He looks like a big long dweeb. These guys look like dweebs. Well, did you see that picture that went around of Hawley kissing his wife? People were like, but it's like the weirdest, like, and I wrote, I thought, what did I say? I thought it was called No Beard November,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Right, like his wife. Yeah.
No Beard November.
Yeah.
What was that thing that came around? Like, we talked about this a while ago. It was like supposedly he had a photo up in his in his dorm of like this jack dude holding a baby.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, that photo's been around forever. I dated a girl when I was in college that had that photograph framed, just this buff 80s dude with a little baby. And the I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. She also had like a series of photographs of like a rubber duck that was like a little pop culture thing for a while. It'd be like a rubber duck in a swimming pool, or a rubber duck in a.
He had that photo up as well. He claimed that had something to do with like parenting and the importance of it, and that's why he had it up. Like I said, me and my brother, we had a poster up on our wall of this Mets player who happened to be a very busty blonde holding a bat, and about like busting or whatever on the poster. Let me tell you, you don't want to share a room with a kid. A brother who's 4 years old when you're 9. I mean, that room.
Yeah.
Weird noise. All kinds of weird noises. Why is there tissues everywhere? But probably because of that poster.
Well, that's funny.
That poster was up not because she was but because we admired that she was able to be on the Mets team and be like one of the top players. Yeah, like that was a big deal. You didn't really see that back in the 80s. And
I had a poster of Terry Copley on my wall, who starred in a show about, she was like somebody's maid or whatever. And then I had a poster of Heather Thomas on my wall.
Oh, nice. Of the Fall Guy fan.
Yes.
Regular, we talked about that several times.
Yeah. And now she follows me on Twitter. So I feel like I've really it's come full circle.
Ouroboros or did you tell her about the poster on the wall?
I did not. That did.
Should tell her. She'll be like, you might lose her. I mean, or maybe being like, oh yeah, I can sign that for you.
Yeah, indirect message. Not to be creepy or anything, but
I just wanted to let you know that I had a poster of you up on my wall when I was a coming of age.
Right.
Emphasis on the coming.
Yeah, I'll probably not mention that.
Yeah, don't write that. I don't think you might lose her as a follower.
Yeah. She actually though became like a fairly big liberal activist.
I was gonna say, what does she have to say about Josh Hawley?
She is a actress, writer, activist.
Nice.
And let's see, what is it? Yeah, she just does a lot of stuff like freedom, the Voting Rights Act and
nice
stuff like that. So yeah, she's good.
So Josh Hawley went on this whole anti-porn thing supposedly.
Yeah.
Which I think is that's how you get MAGA chuds. The guys who like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's how you get on their side, is you act like Phyllis Schlafly.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking clown. First of all, he shouldn't, like, this motherfucker's gonna think he could run in 2024, 2028. And he could, but Ted, I don't know, I was watching in the majority board, someone said something about Ted Cruz and him. And like, because Ted Cruz liked that porno years ago on Twitter.
Yeah. Like
that could be a great moment on the debate stage. As a chronic masturbator, Josh Hawley, I'm Ted Cruz. Just want to make sure everyone knows. As a chronic masturbator, I'm offended by your policy.
Yeah. It is weird. I mean, Josh Hawley just seems like so inauthentic, like
the guy's not even the fucking state, and he's a fucking creep, dude.
Yeah.
January 6th proved he was a creep. Literally right after all this shit happened on January 6th, and they went back and intervened again in the night time. The Senate went back in after their lives were threatened by all those psychopaths. What did Josh Hawley do? He was one of the first ones to immediately again try to prevent Biden from being president. That guy sucks. He should not be allowed to run. He should be fucking removed from the Senate.
Well, that kind of goes into our next topic, which is the subpoenas. They're subpoenaing people left and right.
Yeah, they've subpoenaed like 15 people or something recently.
None of
But
them.
any of these people going to show up?
No. The only thing I've heard is that now they're saying that we're going to subpoena some of Pence's cabinet, and Pence's people are like, you don't got to subpoena us, just tell us where to be, we'll come talk, and that would be useful and interesting. However,
we're just happy to be here.
Yeah, Merrick Garland got that criminal referral for Steve Bannon like a week ago, and he hasn't done dick with it, and that's just unacceptable. They have to do something. As more and more of these clowns, like some of these attendees, the January 6th, are going to be in office or got elected into office. Some of these guys did get elected this past week. These are people who attended the January 6th thing. Yeah, they need to drag these people into court in handcuffs, and they can explain to the judge why they're not complying with a lawful subpoena.
The funny thing about the Nazi Party didn't just take over the country of Germany by like force and will. They used elections, and they used like political shenanigans. That's how they were able to do it. And they had their Reichstag fire thing and all that. But like, what did they do? They did something else, and then like Hitler ended up in jail. And then like a decade later, they were in charge of Germany.
They tried like a coup, I think, and then he wound up in jail. And then they just got elected. They got elected because Germans were pissed off about the Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I. The Germans got the short end of the stick, and they had a bad economy, and Hitler was going to make Germany great again. That was it.
I forgot what I was looking at. I was on like a TikTok thing, and I was like, I don't even remember what it was. Oh, it's like something to do with there was like some of these like I don't even know if this TikTok ended up my thing, but it was about like money and everything, and about like things are going to default and everything. And I'm looking at the comments because I'm like, all right, the comments gonna be really bad. And I read this one comment, and like I thought for a second, I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible. And the guy's like, United States backed the wrong team in World War II. You could have had this problem solved. I was like, yeah, that's Nazi shit right there. What do you mean by they backed the wrong team in World War II? What are you saying?
There's no good way to read that.
No, it was awful. It was like, oh wow, Nazi shit. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, the subpoenas are like, who cares if none of these fucking people show up?
They're meaningless. I get that you have to do that first, but ramp it up.
Well, what's going to happen? And then, like, what was it? Like, there was a Trump, not a tweet, obviously, because he can't tweet, but like a statement from Trump. But everyone was saying that fucking Stephen Miller wrote it really quick, and because it came out really quick. Yeah. And it was like, this is clearly written by Stephen Miller under Trump's name.
I don't remember saying that, but I don't know. They got to start.
They have to do something.
Yeah, they got to do something.
Like the longer it takes. I mean, dude, we're already in November. This was in January. I know that's in the same. Like, it just gets more distant, and this country, these people are easily distracted. We live in we are literally that dog from Up. Yeah. The squirrel dog. Yeah. Like, dog that like gets distracted easily because he's a dog. Yeah. Doug.
Well, you're right. I mean, like, there's a big chunk of the population that's already like, look, let's forget it. Let's move on. So, I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's frightening. All right. Speaking of fucking disappointing.
Yeah, Pelosi.
This woman does. So she was like, you know what? I'm going to out. The ice cream fridge did not seem. She made the ice cream fridge seem like part of the proletariat.
Yeah, right.
She's like, I'm gonna one up my stuff. What?
The history of the ice cream fridge is the history of the class struggle. It's the
it's a new chapter in the People's History of the United States. Yeah. Howard Zinn. They actually add that in, ice cream fridge. Nancy Pelosi officiated a wedding in San Francisco for an heiress, like a billionaire heiress, the
Yeah.
Getty fortune. And the whole thing just looks like something from the Capitol, literally.
Yeah. You mean like from Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy was there. She's that actress from the show about chess.
Oh, yeah. The Queen's Gambit.
Yes, the Gambit of the Queen. Yeah. That
That
was
was a good
okay.
show.
Yeah,
That was good.
It was good. I wonder if they're gonna do a second season, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know.
I think that's it. I think it's it's a one and done.
Yeah. Hey, I'll get it. She's good at chess. She's pretty.
I liked it because I didn't know much about it. I think if people started raving about it, I think that would have.
I knew I did. I'll be honest, we watched it after people were already raving about it. I was like, fuck it, let's just watch it. And we enjoyed it. I think the ending was like okay. It was all right. The show itself was good. And it was interesting. Good. Her upbringing was interesting.
Yeah.
And like how she ended up in it. But that's nothing to do with this. So Nancy, it's just like, again, it's like you have this infrastructure bill that's like been totally stripped of what it was supposed to be.
Yep.
Nothing's happening with January 6th. Nothing like big is happening.
Right.
Like you're basically sitting back and like you're officiating a wedding for the people of your class, because she is super rich. She comes from a super rich family. The Pelosi's are very rich people, outside of her being the Speaker of the House. Very rich person.
Right.
Goes back years. Her dad was in politics, I guess, and
makes sense. Yeah.
And when it like came out, like her joke was like, you should follow what stocks her husband buys, so that's how you know you'll do well.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. That's all it is. We're told every day this is supposed to be the progressive, and we know she's not. She's a fucking corporatist. Yeah, she's progressive in that she lives in San Francisco.
Right. I don't mind Nancy Pelosi, but man, she does pull out some clutch disappointments pretty often.
I feel like
this is one of them.
She is that she has nobody that lives in the real world on her staff. They're all like either trust fund babies, or they're all legacy hires. And they're all people who are like, you're gonna go do that wedding. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. And she doesn't really give a fuck if a bunch of pictures get out about her officiating a wedding. And people were, I think I was watching, like, Sam Cedar said something about like how they only had to pay a certain amount because it was done in like this courthouse, but they changed it into like this crazy thing. And then like the courthouse should have charged these people like $1 million to use it. They're like, yeah you guys are gonna pay $1 million. Everyone else can pay like whatever.
Right, $29.
You're gonna pay way more. And the whole thing, if you saw pictures of it, and then it's like it's oil money, and it's like guy looks like Shalom. The guy looks like the guy from Dune.
Timothy Chalamet.
Chamomile. And I don't know. It's just bad optics. It's just like she sucks. That's it. It's just bad optics. That's all it is. It's like, I mean, she officiated a wedding, but it's like also like, aren't you busy? Like, don't you? Like, this is what this was during the week too. It wasn't a weekend. I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. I don't know. I don't think it happened on the weekend. I think it literally happened like
I have no idea. I know it's a bad look. This is when conservatives will lie about Nancy Pelosi 99 times. And then they'll say shit like, oh, and she throws fancy weddings, blah, blah. And that'll be the 100th thing they say. That'll be the thing that turns out to have some evidence behind it. And the average MAGA chud's going to believe the other 99 things.
Average MAGA chud. The average person is going to see it, who doesn't pay attention that much and thinks that all politicians are bad. Nancy Pelosi adds to that. And they stay home. I think she'll be fine. She's a congresswoman from fucking San Francisco. She's not. They're never gonna vote her out until she fucking retires. Again, it's just disappointing. Like the ice cream fridge, I feel like everyone kind of gave her too much shit to that. It was like no big deal. It was like, we know she's rich. It was tasteless because it happened during COVID, in the beginning of COVID, and there were people who weren't working. There were people who would. and here she is talking about her favorite ice cream with the fucking British that guy James Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
talking about what her favorite. She's like, "Oh, you don't have a favorite ice cream? Here's my favorite ice cream. They cost $30 a pint, and they're in my $10,000 ice cream freezer." Like the freezer. People pointed out that she had 2 different fridges, and these aren't like normal fridges. They're like, and they cost like $10,000 each. And the ice cream she was eating was this like,
right.
This is not store-bought ice cream. You gotta like. Yeah. They cost like $20 a pint or something. You order it all. I mean, again, it's like this kind of dumb shit we're talking about, but like that's what people look at.
That's what people look at. Yeah.
They don't care. Like, and it's like, again, that's how the Republicans win, because they look at that and the Republicans try to act like, which is hysterical because they're super rich too.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, well, let's move on. Okay, last thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it. It's a okay, go ahead. You talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm in the same boat as you. I don't have like a ton to say about it. This hip hop artist, Travis Scott, I guess had been doing an AstroWorld festival in Houston for a number of years. And it had gotten bigger and bigger and more audacious.
See the thing where people are walking into his head or something?
Yeah. It becomes like a Lollapalooza type of deal.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people got killed at the last one. They got crushed to death.
The 14-year-old was killed.
Yeah.
It was like different ages. They're all crushed to death. Now this has happened before.
Yeah.
We've heard about this. I mean, only thing I know about Travis Scott is I think I tweeted said, "I'm starting to regret that Travis Scott meal I got from McDonald's."
Yeah.
Like a year ago or whatever. Those things are stupid. So if you get them, they have like these meals and they're so dumb. It's the same crap. It's not like you're going to get a menu item. It's literally just like, and I remember I wanted to get it. It's like a meal. Sometimes like sorry, but it goes to charity. And I was like, "Oh, can I get like a cup of coffee though instead of soda?" And the person's like, "No, you have to get a Sprite. That's the meal. The Travis Scott meal is a quarter pounder with whatever and a Sprite.
Yeah,
you can't change it or it's not the meal." And I was like, "Oh God, all right. I guess I'll have a Sprite."
Well,
that's all I really know about him.
I think he's married to a Kardashian or dating a Kardashian.
Yeah. He's supposed to be kind of douchey.
Yeah.
But like the cops at this thing were blaming fentanyl or some bullshit. They were like lying and saying it was like, they're like, no one wants to admit the fact that they just did a bad job. Like, is it Travis Scott's fault? I mean,
I don't know. I agree.
I think so. He's the performer.
Right. The producer of the show is the one responsible, because like, look, you got to say we're letting X number of people in here, and this is how we're going to do ticketing, and this is how we're going to organize the crowd. Someone's responsible for that shit. I mean, and it's probably not Travis Scott sitting down with some graph paper trying to put like how many people are going to fit into this venue or whatever. It's probably like some people, like some producers.
His job is to get the crowd pumped, so that they'll keep coming back to Travis Scott shows. That's it.
That's
His job is to sell the tickets, sell the merch.
Yep.
Get everyone excited to like Travis Scott.
Now I've been.
I don't think he's. Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've been to concerts. Like now I'm older, and then most of the concerts I go to are pretty sedate. But not even that long ago, I've been to some concerts where I was up near the stage, and you can see how it'd get real bad real quick.
Especially at a big concert where you have I mean, like they have like so. Oh, they said like, was it? Who's the ticket company? Not Ticketmaster. It's
Live Nation.
Yeah, that they're like should be held responsible because they probably sold more tickets than they should have.
Right. That's the thing. It's like you should sell, and like you should mix it up. Like it should be. Like when I go to concerts now, it's a mix of seating and general admission floor. And, you have like options, like, I don't know that they had options there. I don't know that they had like roped off places where like, we're going to let 300 people into this section. We're going to let, like there's a science to that. People go to school for shit like that, you know, how to organize stuff like that. So I don't know.
I mean, it's awful. I'm wondering what's coming out. But like I said, the thing with the cops is really weird. It's like
It
trying
is.
to like put the blame onto like make up some bullshit drug thing, and it's like, no, people got fucking crushed to death, and you didn't do your job.
Yeah, this isn't a big mystery. There's a lot of people in a small area.
Yeah, and like Travis Scott's job is to hype up the crowd.
Well, what was the satanic panic angle on this?
Because I know because some of the artwork and some of the big things in his
right, we're like
show,
devilish.
They just had like, yeah, and people were posting paintings, and again, it's just like putting the blame on something like when it's changing the blame. It's like,
yeah,
people should be put on the blame. Cops, Live Nation, people who ran the place.
Yeah,
and the right and all them focus on like try to make it one scary black guy, that create that narrative, devil satanic artwork, you know, the thing with Little Nas, they did like the kind of the same
yeah
thing.
I remember that.
Nas intentionally,
yeah, he fed into that or capitalized on it or whatever,
he
you know,
intentionally did it, and it was like, fuck you, you know, like I don't care, which was good on him. But yeah, there's just some of the statues there and stuff, like some of the props or whatever. It looked like it made it, and then people dying, so it falls into conspiracy.
It
people,
does.
You know, that's just what they do.
I feel bad.
It loses its real impact.
Yeah. I think I feel bad because this is live music's coming. I love live music. It's a big deal to me. I haven't been to live shows in a long time because of coronavirus.
We're planning on going to our first concert in the end of December. We had tickets and it from last year, it was postponed, and we figured with our kid fully vaccinated, well, that's with the boosters.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to it. Well, like,
now is Gallagher touring again? Is that
I don't think I will ever see Gallagher again. One, because I don't know if he tours anymore.
Sure.
And two, because that was the worst thing I ever saw in my fucking life. It was horrible.
What show are you going to see?
Polyphonicsbury. They do like
show. Yeah.
So we'll see how things are, but as of right now, we plan on it because, like I said, our son will be fully vaccinated by then. It's the end of the year. We got our boosters. We'll probably wear masks the entire time. I would anyway. Because let me tell you, I like wearing a mask for one reason indoors now. I don't want to get a fucking cold either.
Yeah, I have no problem wearing a mask. Once my daughter's fully vaccinated and we're all kind of like boosted up and all that, I'm going to stress about it a lot less more. If I the other day I drove up, I was going to go to PetSmart to get some pet food, got halfway there, realized I didn't bring a mask. I just didn't have one. And so I was like, oh, I got gas and I came home. If in a month or two, I'll probably run into PetSmart real quick and get what I need to get and get out. I don't know. I can see it.
All right, change your name to Karen. Karen.
And if they try to stop me, I will.
This is my right. My right as an American. No, but yeah. So I don't know what will come out of this thing. I mean, it sucks. I don't know. Like, I'm sure people are like, will anyone go to jail over this or like? I don't know. I mean, like,
well,
fines. I don't.
It's hard. There's that one famous footage where you see a girl crawl up on stage and say a handler,
like a sound person or something.
Maybe sound or lights, or they're a tech, and she's like, "There's dead people down there,"
and they ignored her.
Yeah, and the guy's looking at her and then looking back and then telling her to get down. Now, I, as you have too, have been in concerts, and sometimes it's not real easy to hear. And for all we know, like if I were doing tech at a live event, I'd be wearing earplugs because I don't want to go deaf.
And some fucking person comes up to you and tells you that, you'd be like, "What are you fucking talking about?"
I don't know what I would have done. I don't want to blame the tech. I don't want to blame the tech guy. However, it looks bad. It looks because you see a corpse and a girl shouting for help and a guy shooing her away and Travis Scott dancing around like an idiot. It's a very awful piece of video.
You ever see the movie Phantom of the Paradise?
You've asked me this before. I keep wanting to say Kiss, but it's not Kiss. It's
no, it's not fucking Kiss and the fucking Phantom of the Circus, whatever that piece
Phantom of the Park.
Paradise, Brian De Palma movie. Awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen it. I think we've established I haven't seen it.
You need to watch Phantom of the Paradise. That movie is amazing.
Huh.
Pre Star Wars, the guy looks like they stole elements of his costume to make Darth Vader. He has like a voice modulator box.
All right, yeah.
It's like a kind of a retelling of Phantom of the Opera.
Right.
But it goes in a totally different direction. I highly recommend it. The music's awesome in the movie. I mean, it's a 70s film, but it moves. For a 70s movie, it moves.
Is it good?
It's like the opposite of a 70s movie. You know, 70s movies are like slow as fuck.
Yeah, fucking.
And then they have like a big crescendo maybe in the end. Everything, it's all this build up. It's like two people talking in a cabin. It's like 70s movies are like the worst. They're like so slow. Some of them are.
Yeah.
This movie is like a fucking roller coaster. It doesn't stop. The beginning, and it is like it. So I think it's like an hour and a half. It will fly by. It is such a good movie.
I'll check that out. They might have that
in the Paradise. In the ending looks like that Travis Scott thing.
Huh. I'm seeing if it's streaming anywhere right now. I
cannot recommend it anymore. It's so
yeah. I might have to find that somewhere. I don't see it streaming anywhere right now.
Rent it for $2 somewhere.
Yeah, Amazon has it for like $3.99. Kiss meets Phantom of the Park, though. You can.
That's pure shit. Do you know what's awesome about that movie, though? Which is
everything.
Movie?
What?
Well, it's like Hanna-Barbera made it, so that says it all right there. Hanna-Barbera made a live action. Peter Criss, I think the cat.
No, it's Ace Frehley.
Or it's Ace Frehley. Doesn't even talk.
No.
They voiced over him, and it's fucking the guy, Casey Kasem, I think, the guy who did Shaggy, is the voice of Ace Frehley in the movie.
Well, he sounds like Curly from the Three Stooges. But yeah, it's I remember Ace Frehley doesn't. They
voiced over him. They dubbed him, and he's literally like the guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Casey Kasem who did Shaggy.
Yeah, I think he does say zoinks. I think he says.
Oh God,
it's bad. It's
that's the opposite of Phantom of the Paradise. Phantom of the Paradise is a great movie that is beloved. It has a fucking what's his name? He's like that little guy, Paul something.
Paul Stanley?
No.
Oh, you're still talking.
Paul Williams.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Paul Williams had like he had like a good career. He was in that Hardy Boys TV show too.
He was like a little guy.
Yeah.
He was like a big musician. He was even in Planet of the Apes movies, but he got super into drugs. We saw a good documentary about him. And I guess every year they have like this Phantom of the Paradise convention.
Uh-huh.
And he goes to it. I don't know if he goes every year, but
you know what? I think he played a Phantom of the Paradise song on the Hardy Boys.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm serious. What's the guy's Paul Williams? Is that his name?
Yeah. He also wrote the songs. I think he did songs for the Muppet movie.
That he did. You're right.
Rainbow Connection.
Yeah.
Why are there so many songs about? Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he did. Paul Williams did the song "Hell of It" on the Hardy Boys.
I don't think I ever watched the Hardy Boys.
No,
you just aged yourself like big time.
Yeah, he did. He did the song "The Hell of It" was from Phantom of the Paradise. And he performed that on the Hardy Boys. There's the episode Hardy Boys meet Dracula. Hardy Boys go to Dracula's castle.
That's the funniest thing.
Hardy Boys go to Dracula's
castle. What year was that?
Like 70 something. I was in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 70.
All right. Well, watch Phantom of the Paradise.
Yeah.
Don't watch Phantom of the
Park.
Yeah,
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
Yeah, don't watch that. Watch Phantom of the Paradise. Great movie.
All right. I will. You should watch the Hardy Boys episode. Hardy Boys meet Dracula.
I will do a strong Google search with it. Let me just tell you though, the first time I saw Phantom of Paradise was so you got to think about this pre-streaming, even like guides and stuff. So like, I was just dating like Leah, my wife, and and we were like not even. I don't even know if we were even a year into a relationship. Yeah, we were still living at home. The time, and she stayed at overnight like that. And we changed the channel. It was super fucking late.
Yeah.
And we caught like the last 5 minutes of that movie. And it was fucking insane. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Right.
We had to like try to find it. And it wasn't like back in the day, you relied on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You were the prisoner of the guide.
Mm-hmm.
You were prisoner of the schedule. Now these days, man, oh, you don't want to watch it when it airs? Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, listen, for most things, in less than 24 hours, you can literally watch whenever the fuck you feel like.
That's true. I'm
Kids
still
today-
stunned that you can pause live TV. It's like,
Oh, that's weird, right?
it is. It's
Like,
crazy.
yeah, that's strange, right? Yeah, freezing time. You want to see time freeze?
I am ruler of all worlds.
I am omniscient. Hold on. He's going to do it. No.
Right.
He's going to freeze time by one snap.
Yeah, right?
Thanos. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah.
Oh, that was so weird. We talked a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah,
We talked, we had a list of things, but we talked about other things that had nothing to
that's
do with
true.
the list.
Garfield.
Yep. Garfield. Taco Bell.
Taco
Way
Bell.
too much about.
Yeah.
I can't say that we're on the take because I feel like we didn't say kind words or your tips on how to save money by trying to trick your kid into eating pocket-linted nerds in a slushie.
No, they were in a box.
I just kidding. Yeah. Pocket-linted nerds and girds, dorks.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a good one. All right.
It was a great one. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
That.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.